pretty impressed that Smoothly like monitors the people watching as well as the chat.
Oh, he
Um,
sees if anyone's lurking.
yeah,
That's too much for me.
and calls them out by name. Yeah. So he's like, "Why don't you watch more of my streams?" And I said, "Because I don't want to get called out."
Oh, Zach.
He's funny. He's something.
Yeah, he's great to work with.
You met him for the first time in Cancun.
Yes, I did.
That's
Very,
pretty cool.
very much an honor and a pleasure.
That's pretty cool that they do that. My old company used to do Cancun trips like right before I started working there. And then they unfortunately stopped the year that I was there because I guess there were HR.
They stopped once you got there?
Like the year before was the last year. Yeah. It wasn't because of me. I never got to go. But
Okay. I was gonna say, maybe they didn't want to cover your expenses. They're like, okay, now that we've hired Emily, we can't go to Cancun anymore.
that was not the problem.
Okay. What was the problem?
There were a lot of HR issues that came out of this trip.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, I guess it was like multiple years in a row. There had been warnings and then worse and worse things kept happening. So they just cut it off and then they started doing instead like retreats at the office. So they'd bring in performers and things to try and compensate for it. But obviously it's not the same as a trip to Cancun.
Yeah, but they cracked down on the HR cases,
I mean,
or did
I
that?
assume so. I don't know. All I know is that I didn't get to go to Cancun. So,
Well, it's not too late. You could always join chess.com and get the free trips again.
well, I would consider.
You could also get invited as either someone's plus one, or sometimes they invite special guests like Magnus. So,
Great.
I
Next
could,
year, I'll be pretty much there.
yeah, yeah,
Basically, Magnus.
I could put in a good word for you. So,
Nice. Yeah.
yeah,
I
I don't,
gotta relive my lost Cancun opportunities. Also, Ginger, hello. Welcome. Good to see you.
and as far as I'm aware, chess.com's been doing these since like 2012, and we haven't had, I don't know, I haven't heard of any HR issues. So,
How many people work there?
well, this currently we're at 700.
That's about where. No, I think for ours it got up to like 1,500, and then that's where the
Wow. So they
more
they
years.
did a they did a Cancun trip with 1,500 people.
A very big company. Like, yeah,
That's
that
impressive.
was not a problem for
Because like
them.
at our size, we're taking up the whole resort.
Oh,
Or like,
I don't know how they. I mean, I didn't get to go, so this is
wow,
just
they must have some
hearsay.
like super resort. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, enough about Cancun. We've got some very important over the board games to review today. We reviewed your first three out of five last time, and now we have two more, right?
And we saved the worst for last. So
Well, last time we looked at one win and two losses
this time we have one win
and
and
one
one,
loss. Yeah.
but the win I shouldn't have won, and the loss I could have won, but I just didn't try. So
So it kind of balances out
true.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
I think the fact that I won that game, I went into the last one just being like, I'm happy. Whatever happens, happens.
So you let the previous round kind of influence your next round.
Yeah, and then my opponent, he just he ended up winning money because of this game, and I knew that that would be the case. And he's a dad, and he's talking about like his kids are all chess players, and they're all cheering him on, and I just
You gave
I
him
was
the
like,
win?
I didn't give it to him. Like if he would have, well, when we get to the game,
Okay,
you'll
we'll
see.
see. All
Let's
right.
just.
Well, I
Oh no, there's
see I've got an echo, so it could be speakers. I don't know. I guess you said you don't have headphones, right? So-
Mm,
Oh, you have AirPods, yeah.
yeah, but they die after like an hour.
So what was the solve last time you streamed? Was it like
Nothing. These are the same settings.
is
So.
it that I'm too loud over your speakers?
Oh. Oh, good idea. Yeah. Now say something.
Testing new audio echo.
Is that better?
Good morning to Super Trigger Live. Where is
I
it
was
where you're
jamming to some music earlier, so yeah, the speakers. Okay, they said yes.
Oh, wow,
Speakers were very loud.
you were
Yes.
partying
Not really. Just while I was working. It's,
in the zone. Got it.
yeah.
While you're playing some chess.
Here and there, losing. Yes.
Oh, okay. Hello,
Good.
Fly. Hello, Lance. Hello, Sus Lapin. All right, so I've joined the classroom. Do you have the white pieces or the black pieces?
White.
White. Okay,
Um,
great. And you played D4.
the bad. You guys are gonna be very disappointed in the performance of both of these games. But
No. It couldn't be disappointed.
okay. Do you want me to just do the same thing as last
Yeah,
time and
I like hearing your thoughts as you go through and explain, because it's also kind of funny sometimes where you realize that maybe you could have done something differently you don't understand. Also, I feel like it's good that you review. Uh, but yeah, it's been almost a week since you played these games, so it'll be good to refresh your memory a little bit.
the audio's still not great? Oh, do we do the AirPod Gambit? I
No,
might just try it,
she's
and
writing new theory.
if they die, then you guys are just gonna have to suffer through bad audio. The stream. Hang on.
I love how like AirPods are like new technology, but it's like they have to be charged. I like the physical, like give me just the wire, you know? Like just plug it. I don't have to charge it or anything. Don't worry about it dying.
I just don't have any wired headphones. I got these AirPods for like walking Dale, and
No, that's
I don't
okay.
know. They seemed cool at the time. They were very trendy, but now they're not
Maybe
very visible to my
maybe
life.
uh maybe the Twitch chat can support a donation goal to get you some wired earpods.
I think, yeah, that would be great. I think that I can probably manage to find some for like $1 on Amazon because they are like archaic at
Archaic. Okay. Well, I mean, these are some nice headphones that I got from Shure. Shout out to Shure. I got
Oh,
that,
sure, that's what my microphone is.
yeah, I got the friend discount on the headphones. The microphone I got before my friend started working there. But
Well, no brand mentions because there's no free advertising on this.
you mentioned
Great.
that you have a Shure microphone, but we don't have to mention that.
Well, that's in the past.
As of right
Oh, I
now,
did
no.
also say AirPods, so we're not doing too well.
Crazy. Okay.
Ooh.
What computer are you using? It's a
It
secret.
is a it is a personal computer,
Oh, okay.
a laptop, if you will.
Wow. All right, I won't reveal any more Emily brand secrets.
Okay. Cheating. Right. You guys are about to see one of the worst chess games. But actually, this one's better than the next one. So
Okay, starting off
uh,
strong. Well, you did win this one, so
it was by the grace of God. Just
dude,
you'll see. Okay.
when God's on your side, who can be against you?
Exactly.
You lost your way in Jesus and you lost your next game. So
The next one, actually, there was some like
divine
you'll
intervention.
yes, there was, and I still managed to lose. But that was because you'll see. Anyway, I don't want to give any spoilers. Make sure you guys stick around to see the next game because
You're
it's
gonna
something.
just want to see it.
Yeah,
All right.
you need to see it for yourself. Okay.
D4 E5, the England gambit.
Yes, I
Why?
know. okay, I know I've heard after this game that it's a terrible. Um, probably I don't know. I'm assuming this is how my opponent loses a lot of his games, but I have to preface with I did not know how to respond to this. I
Got it.
in hindsight I should have taken. I don't know why I didn't, but I decided that I should push the
Wow.
which some problems for me down the road, as you might imagine.
England Gambit declined.
But I reviewed this game with my opponent, and I mean, to be honest, actually, I'm slightly insulted because he walked me through this whole line if I would have taken the pawn where he was gonna win my queen somehow, but it
Yeah.
was relying on me taking like four other pieces
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
Like,
no, the people that play the England Gambit are definitely kind of prepped up. So that makes sense.
well, after he went through that with me, I was like, okay, I'm kind of glad I didn't take it, but also I probably wouldn't have fallen for it. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
This is what we're with. So, okay, d6. Developing move, supporting my pawn, my poor pawn, all alone up there. E4.
It looks like a very supported pawn to me.
It is until uh I don't know. Ah, so I guess I don't. This is where I don't know what happens actually. We just have to see. Oh, okay, pinning the knight. So my typical opening is completely thrown out the window basically at this point. I was just trying to protect my pawn. I didn't. I mean, I guess I would have won a knight if he took, but then I don't know. At this point, I didn't. I was in trouble. I feel like already, even though I wasn't. I did this because I didn't want his knight coming here, but I think it was like a non-issue. Um, your face says it all. So I did warn you that this was not going to be my best
I'm
performance.
agreeing with you that knight going there is a non-issue.
Well, I was just trying to take space and I don't know. Okay. Um, I feel like I'm watching this for the first time because I really don't know what's gonna happen. Okay, we take the knight. Um, I think at this point my plan was to just lock down the center and like make my knight better than his bishop would have been. Oh wait, did I or my oh no. Yeah, make the knights better than the bishops, which I think is like probably too I probably shouldn't be worrying about things like that.
You're
Okay.
doing great.
Well, now, okay. So now I did this, which obviously is going to create some issues for my king because um, he has nowhere to go, really. Um, and neither does my knight. So, I mean, but it's not like an ideal situation, we could say. So I kind of regretted playing this move, but inevitably, that's what happened. Um, bringing the queen out.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
okay. Nothing wrong with any of this. I mean, if you like are criticizing your own moves, you're more than welcome to share like if you think you could have done something differently or better.
here, I mean, to be honest, I don't really know. Like, I don't have a good idea of really what's going on in this. There's nothing to do except get these pieces out, I suppose. This was an option, but like I feel like the knight couldn't really do anything better. Like it can't go here. This isn't a choice in the foreseeable future. So I think I felt like this was better to just defend the pawn so that this knight was free to move about the cabin. I mean, not there yet, but like I don't know. That I think that was the logic. But I do remember thinking I said, "This is going to make it so you really probably can't castle over here." Oh, do I stand by the move? No, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I guess I could have just developed the knight possibly, or because I mean, but again, like once I lose this pawn, then I have no center, and then I'm losing this one, and well, yeah, I don't know.
Um, how would you lose your e pawn?
Well, the knight would take. Oh yeah, but then I would get a knight.
Yeah, it's defended, so like f3 supports that pawn, but it's already defended, so you're over defending it unnecessarily.
I suppose.
And
But then
also,
I was like, as long as this is here undefended, then this knight has to stay here. Basically.
yeah, but the knight's happy there because it's
Yeah.
supporting your center. Same with you were mentioning why you didn't necessarily play knight to f3. And you're saying like, well, the knight's not really going to go here. It's not really taking this pawn or anything. But the knight doesn't need to go anywhere from f3, right? You just need to put the pieces in the middle, put your bishop somewhere, and then castle, right? So you don't necessarily have to worry about like for
Mm-hmm.
this opening stage. I think you're thinking a little too deep because then uh, when you play f3, you're taking that square away from your knight. So even though the knight on f3 maybe doesn't have a lot of great moves, right? It's much
Mm-hmm.
better on f3 than it is where it is right now on g1. So, anyways, that's fine. We can keep going. If you're happy with. You can also
I mean,
keep analyzing if you want.
oh well, I think eventually too. Like this was the idea was to do this. Then yeah, again, my king is unsafe, so
Okay.
that ends up getting me into trouble.
If the idea is to go f4 eventually, like you could have also um, tried castling first, and then you could also play the pawn to f4 in one move instead of moving it twice.
Yeah, because then I could put my knight here also.
But yeah, I see what you're saying though is if you put the knight on f3, then you can't push the pawn to f4. But you would probably want to develop the knight and get castled first. Then it's fine to move the knight somewhere and then push the f4 pawn. So you're thinking like a little too far ahead. You're kind of overthinking things a little bit. You got to come back to like the kind of the basics, right? So like when you play the pawn to b4, you're thinking like, okay, if the knight goes here, like that's going to be an issue. So I'm going to stop that from happening. But that pawn push is actually kind of detrimental to your position, and it's also not a development move. And after they played h6, you traded your bishop, and their knight took back anyways. So their knight's not even threatening to come here anymore. So your pawn push here is kind of like a permanent weakness. And similar with like f3, right? So we're pushing pawns when instead we could have developed a knight and a bishop instead of like these two pawn pushes, and we'd already be ready to castle.
Exactly after I made that move that I said I'm not in a great spot already. So, um, yeah, but I think I played a little better later on after my opponent made a mistake and well, but again, we shouldn't rely on opponent mistakes. I didn't play well in this game. Um, I don't. This is strange. Why did he do that? I guess trying to come here maybe. Oh yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It's just getting worse. But again, like I didn't want him coming here. So
Here's an interesting thought as well. What happens if you castle here? What would black do?
I mean that probably would have been a better idea.
Really?
Oh. I don't know. Well, I know that the queen can come in here and like
Does
it
black have
does.
any immediate tactics?
It's oh yeah. Oh yeah. That would be not good for me.
Yeah, that would win your queen. So I wanted to point out this out. This is a blunder. So don't castle long here. The reason why you mentioned like why did they go here? Maybe they want to come here, right? But this knight move does a lot of other things as well, and it's not necessarily involving where the knight goes to, but it's involving what the knight is leaving behind, right? So the knight was kind of in the way of some pieces. So when you move the knight, you open up some possibilities, right? One of them being the bishop. What's the other one?
The the pawn, the queen.
The pawn.
Okay.
So when an opponent makes a move, you have to be thinking not only like where can that knight go, but you also have to be thinking like what was left behind, right? The square is opened up. So whenever you make a move, you get additional options for like future moves. So
Mhm.
obviously the knight has new squares that it can go to from where it is now. But you also have to keep in mind there's also other pieces that have been liberated. So I just wanted to say it because there's also now a check available, right?
Yes.
So that's an important detail as well. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the other reason I played the G3
Yeah.
move and my queen got.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're preventing the check, but you're also preventing the knight from hopping in. I think if you hadn't pushed your F pawn, then like this wouldn't be a check, right? You'd have an F pawn still. But okay. All right, let's see what happened. You didn't castle here, which is really good.
Well, yes, that is good.
They played here
But I could
anyways.
have like allowed myself to castle over here.
You can still
I did
do
not.
that later. It's still possible.
No, you'll see.
Okay.
It will not be possible. Okay. Um yeah, because then this didn't work. I just would be my queen would be
Uh-huh.
hanging, I think. So I just moved it.
Did you look at other options?
I think so, but apparently not. Uh
Well, looking at it now, do you think that Queen D1 is your best option?
I think this was probably better.
Why?
Queen F2 because then that's well, I don't know. I didn't even see this threat of the uh which gets me in trouble.
Yeah, I think Queen F2 is definitely a better choice, and it's not only because of Queen B6. I think when your queen goes back to D1, that's like the starting square for it, right? Like your queen moved from D1 to D2 and is now coming back to D1. So you're underdeveloping. You have a bit of a noise gate, so you're like actually muted. Like I cannot hear when you keep talking, keep going, then I can hear it. But I don't know if it's a Discord setting or if it's a microphone setting.
Stupid AirPods. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Oh my,
it probably is the
I,
AirPods.
you know what it is? It's probably my Discord. I wonder.
It's some sort of noise gate setting. Like there's a threshold that it won't actually make noise until you've passed something. I don't know.
Oh God, should I just take these out? Uh, sorry guys. I'm I'm gonna just take out the AirPods. And I'll just turn the volume down. Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully there's not much of an echo. Sorry, guys. Okay. So this was a bad move. Okay, no echo. That's good. Um, yeah, so he brings his queen in,
Yep.
and ooh, I mean, I saw this threat and I panicked a little. I didn't really did that so
Okay.
that it wouldn't be check. But like there probably was something better I could have done here, but I thought about it for a while and I really didn't see anything. Um,
So probably I would want to just defend the B pawn.
mm, and ignore this, because then what?
Um, then you could block with a knight. I guess no, you don't. You couldn't block with the queen because you lose this knight, right, with the fork as well, actually. So it'd be really you'd be dropping both the knight and the rook.
Yeah, my position was had a lot of weaknesses at this point.
Yeah. So you see, like, if you
That's why I played
compare,
the point was to defend this one.
yeah, honestly, knight e2 is probably a good move here. You're just giving up the e pawn. But if you compare like black's position to your position, you have one knight developed and you have a lot of pawns pushed,
Mm-hmm.
whereas they have a queen, bishop, and knight developed. So really, it's just a comparison between piece development, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you spent these moves like b4, f3, g3 when you could have brought out some pieces, or also like your queen was out too, but then you brought it back, so your queen could have been like here,
Mm-hmm.
and they wouldn't have this queen b6 move available to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the difference right now in the position. So okay, knight here, you're blocking this potential queen check, and you're developing a piece, which is good. You're still kind of two moves away from castling. They're, ready to castle here. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, black's doing really well here. I'm curious to see. They must have messed up somewhere, right? So, yeah, here.
That move, here they come. They play the
Okay.
move anyway.
And then you played bishop g2.
No. Well,
Okay.
I don't know. Did I? I don't know what I did.
You
Nope.
pushed your pawn.
Which was stupid, I know, because then this was or what happened? This was like it's the knight's pinned, so I couldn't even.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, I don't know. So I there's three attackers and like one defender. I don't know why I did that. I was just trying to block the talking.
So,
Yeah.
g4 would have been really bad if you played g4. Do you know why?
Uh, this was okay. Um, because checkmate. Oh wait, no. The knight can't go there. Oh my gosh, I always feel so I feel like I'm so dumb on these.
What do you? Okay, hold on. Put the move g4 on the board. Yeah. And now what do they do?
Or I don't know. I'm assuming.
What do we look for in on any given move?
Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. What happens after that?
It's just good night.
Yeah, that's game over in one move. So g4 is literally the worst possible move because it blunders checkmate in one.
I didn't play that. So,
That's good.
but this still was not a good move, what I played.
Okay. I can agree with that too. So please tell me they took that pawn.
No. They didn't. Oh,
They did.
they did. Wait, but there was another
Ah, and then you did. So it's really important if we go back right here and I say, "Oh, well, G4 is such a bad move." Like how silly, how goofy of a move that would be because it blunders main one, right? It might seem a little outlandish because like of course you're not gonna blunder main one, but when you play a move like F4 and they take, how natural is it to just simply take back, right? Did you
Oh,
cons
I knew that I wasn't gonna do that.
And
Yeah.
once you realize the importance of the G pawn being here, um, yeah. So now your G pawn is off limits. You can't even touch it. So that was kind of a free gift for them. Queen D2, I like it. You're offering a queen trade. So really, F4 was pretty smart because now their queen and bishop aren't connected anymore. So that allows you to play queen D2. I can see the
But
gears turning.
I wouldn't say it was smart, but that was the idea behind it. But I think he had a better option here. Like he shouldn't have taken when he takes the queen, and I sigh a deep sigh of relief because at this point my heart was
You're
racing. I was like, I'm dead. Literally at move, whenever the queen came over here, I was like, oh my gosh, it's over.
It's over. Well,
But we were resilient, and he took my queen, and then we were still alive.
okay, great.
So,
Staying
uh,
alive, like the Bee Gees.
yeah, exactly. And now
Barely.
there's definitely no castling for me, but I had already accepted this
Yeah, but
path.
you got the queens off the board, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, I was like, no queens. I'm okay. I'm fine. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so he did this. I just blocked with the knight,
Uh-huh.
and then he takes,
Uh-huh.
and then I think he was expecting me to take this, but then I was like, well, I don't want
Boom,
you
H4. What a move.
recapturing with check.
Huge.
So I did that.
Fancy, fancy.
I mean, well, the alternative would be take, and then I'm in check, and then I'm like losing.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is really smart.
Um,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'm like on edge to see what the next move is because
You don't
I don't know.
remember.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, okay.
Very nice.
So, like actually our pawns are mostly okay with the exception of this. This is kind of not super encouraging, but I feel
No, I feel
confident.
like after the queen trade, like yeah, they probably could have done a little bit more to punish you, but I really like your position now actually. Like
Well, we'll see what happens
we'll
because I
see.
think in the end I still was in a losing position and they made another mistake and
Now this position looks like really good actually. I think I would take white here. Call me crazy, but here's what I'm assessing, right? You're down a pawn, but it's the F pawn. Like you're gonna pick that up with your king. They just castled. You don't have a G pawn, so after you win the F pawn, you're playing like Rook G1 or something. Your knight in the center is an absolute monster. You're threatening their bishop, which will double isolate their F pawns, open up their king. So like where would their bishop even go right now? They have like really only one good move and it's back to D8. And they have an isolated D pawn. Like this is actually I think really you've turned the tide already.
they saved their bishop.
They go here, but now you can play.
I didn't play the best move, I'm sure.
What'd you
I
play?
played I developed my bishop. which
That's
this was. I should have gone here. I don't know why. I should have gone to c4. I don't know why I did this. I think the idea was like, I don't know.
no,
I don't
I
know.
think your bishop development move is totally reasonable. I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. This was like, I mean, right now it's not doing anything.
I was thinking like c3 would be good, but I guess bishop f2 is kind of annoying. And then, but
Oh
no,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, like bishop
Well,
d3 or
now
c4
his
section.
plan is like to try and come down here. So then I saw that and I was like trying to kind of defend against it.
No, I think the
Um,
bishop move is very solid because you free up f1.
yeah.
So, okay. And then what do they do? Here, and then now you play c3, or you played rook f1. Ooh, rook h to f1. Okay.
What you think that this was better? I think I wanted to. I don't know what I was thinking.
Maybe. I also think that c3
Okay,
is a really
this
good
could go in
move.
the G file. I was also really worried about this like
Well,
attack.
yeah, if they play f2, you just play rook f1 and you're
Yeah,
totally
but then my
fine.
rook's like stuck here because I can't take because of the.
It's only stuck very temporarily. Here's because okay, we can do some analysis here, right? So black has just played rook e8. You can either make a move here as white, or you can go back and pretend that black played f2, and you can put f2 on the board if you want. Yeah, here. And now you have to save your rook. Yep, you go to f1. And now it doesn't really quite matter what black does, right? Your next move is going to be c3. And their bishop can no longer save their pawn.
Hmm.
I guess technically they can play a6 or something.
It takes me a couple of moves to see that. So. Oh well, I guess
Well,
to be fair, they didn't play this yet right away.
that's fine. I think another thing is, yeah, if they played like a6, which is kind of smart, they're trying to make sure their bishop can stay on the diagonal to go to like a7 or something. Then you can always cut the bishop's defense off of the pawn by playing a move like knight to e3.
I thought about that too, but then I was like, it's just my knight is like pretty good right now.
Yeah, your knight's your best piece for sure.
Yeah, so that's why
But okay.
I did think about it.
Yeah, rook here is
Um,
also a fine move. Here's what I don't like so much about rook h to f1. I really like the rook on the h file
mm,
because like eventually if we cut the bishop off, I would love for the rooks to be like maybe like rook here and
hmm
have this rook here. I don't know. I think the concrete reason for me why this move isn't so great is because what do you do now after pawn to f2?
Yeah, I mean this one. I see why this one would have been better because then this one's still. Well, I don't know.
There's a
Um.
concrete reason.
Oh wait. Sorry. What was the question?
What would you do after pawn to f2 here?
I would save my rook.
Okay.
Um. I think this happened. I don't know. I think I just went.
Yeah, let's say you go rook b1.
Uh.
We can make the move on the board. And now what move? There's a really good move here for black.
Oh. Um. I'm assuming. Oh. Um.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's because our rook on the h file is no longer there.
Yes.
I like bishop here is very annoying. So you'd have to go like this. Maybe they go here. Like, I mean, they're not quite promoting because we have the bishop still covering, but like maybe they take this pawn. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like after this, maybe we have to go like I don't know. It's just it's all kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Um, whereas if we go like here, well, like in this position, I would love to go c3 because like I don't know where the bishop probably has to go here.
I did do that bunch, but
I mean, maybe they go here, but then we're just gonna go here and we're gonna scoop up the material.
um,
I wasn't even looking at that, says Le Pen. So that's funny. Apparently, rookie eight's actually a blunder.
oh, wait, this is why. Oh, yep. Yep, I did not see that. But you know what? This is actually more embarrassing. I'm not even gonna tell you guys what happened because it's gonna reflect
Goodness.
even poorer on me.
I'm not gonna lie, I missed this too.
But here, okay, I had a hint in the game because my opponent, also Alec, hello chat, also everyone. Sorry, I haven't said hi to you guys, but um, in the game, my opponent played this move and he said, "Can I take it back?"
This one? Oh, that's so
I did not
cute.
see the fork,
They asked you, what a horrible bluff. Totally gave it away.
and
And
I still didn't see it.
you said
I
no.
still did not see it.
You're
I just was
being
like, "Oh,
merciful.
they want to play a better move or something." I don't know. I know.
That's really cute.
Well, I still won somehow, but yeah, I didn't deserve it in this game. I just
Yeah, so you guys reviewed this after the game,
yes.
and you forgot even now. But I didn't see it either, to be fair. I honestly I really like your knight where it is. And I just want to play like c3 and like rook e to f1 and just pick up
Yeah.
this pawn.
Because even so, I feel
Or
like there
even like
might be some
yeah.
sort of, I don't know, that wouldn't work. I don't know. It would have been a good move, but I'm trying to myself.
Well, when you play knight c7, what do you know what their best move should be or what piece they would
Knight
move?
C7?
If you played
Oh, if
yeah,
I
if
went
you played
here.
the fork, yeah.
If I did do that,
What would they do? It's no like counter tactic or
they
anything,
would
but
just push this pawn and threaten my rook.
well, I mean maybe they could throw that they could insert
That's
that,
fine.
but you would move your rook, you'd save your rook, and then they would have to react to your knight, right?
True.
So, what do you think would be a good move? Like, let's say we just do this, and now,
Mm, I mean, again, they could come in. I don't know, but I guess yeah, they're still. Or they could. That doesn't do anything.
they wouldn't go to bishop h3 because we still have our rook covering that, right?
Oh yeah. The rook is still there. Oh, but this was it like that in the game? I thought I moved.
This is our hypothetical
Oh,
because
okay.
here we played knight c7, right?
Right, but this didn't happen when my rook was over here, did it? I don't know.
We're just looking at this position that's
Okay,
currently
I'm
here.
sorry. I'm trying to get out
You
of
don't have to be
this.
sorry. It's okay.
Um, hmm. Oops. Uh,
what's like how so black's getting forked. They're losing a rook. What's the best way that black can minimize the damage?
I guess. Oh, I mean, they could move the bishop and then the knight, the rooks to each other, and then.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. There's
Oh, okay.
nothing
I
to
was looking for like counterattack. I think I was trying to be too fancy.
yeah. No, they need to move this bishop specifically so that the rooks can defend each other. So they can at least
Mm-hmm.
take back the knight. But okay, sorry, that was kind of okay. So they played this. They asked for a take back. You said no, and then you played rook h to f1, and then what did they do? They probably moved the rook again, huh? No, they go here. Okay, and now you. I'm surprised he asked for a take back, and then you said
I
no,
did.
didn't fork him. You go here, and now what did he do?
But he still hasn't moved his rooks.
So
So
now does he do it? Maybe.
yeah.
We're getting a huge raid from Eric Rosen. Thank you, Eric. Hello, Chaco. Do I have a Rosen command? I do. Shout out to Eric. I hope you had a good stream. We're giving a lesson. We're reviewing some over the board games played from Emily from her first ever over the board tournament. We reviewed her first 3 games already, so you can go back and watch those if you'd like. But this is game 4 and 5, the last 2 games of her tournament, played last weekend. So it's been a little bit of a while since then. But I think Eric was playing in the Yasser Seirawan qualifier tournament. How did that go? Yeah, Panda, this is not Seirawan chess, unfortunately. This is Emily chess. Specifically, Emily plays chess. So if you guys want to go find Emily's channel, shout out to Emily. And yeah, we're looking at game 4 here of her tournament. So a lovely position that she has. We're gonna see how she continues this game.
For debate, but
Yeah, Emily has a
okay.
dog named Dale. He's a good
Oh yeah.
boy,
He's right.
certified, and a golden retriever.
Yep. The most like basic dog ever. But he's pretty cute.
What
He's a good
what
boy.
would you prefer another dog?
No, I just feel like people judge me for having a golden retriever. But to be fair, let the record show I rescued him, okay? Kind of. Like,
Kind of.
yeah. I got him on Craigslist. He was not in a good situation. Well, it's fine. He was fine actually. He was like compared to other dogs, but anyway, just
I need
I
some
don't
more Dale
puppy.
lore.
Anyway,
You rescued him
I'll
from
just
an
thank
okay situation.
you guys. What?
You rescued him from an okay situation.
It wasn't good. Like, okay,
Okay.
I rescued him from a. I'm not even getting into this topic because people are gonna like get mad at me in the
Oh,
comments. So we're changing the topic.
okay.
But in my eyes, I rescued him, and he was very cheap for a dog. For like a golden retriever, it was only $200. So
Wow,
that is the
but we
cost
all
of a rescue.
know
Actually, potentially cheaper. So
Dale is priceless, as we all
and
know.
he was he was adopted and then he was brought back. So like he was not loved. He anyway
But he's loved very much now.
when he's behaving, yes.
What? Well, we love Dale
Yeah,
unconditionally
I have to keep him now for the stream because he's the star of the show.
for this. Wow. So wait, so if you weren't streaming, you're saying that you would return Dale for another time?
No, I wouldn't return him, but I always threaten him that I have to get rid of him
Oh
because
no.
that's how he. I have to make him appreciate what he has and behave.
Well, Dale's always on his best behavior from what I've seen.
Well, you haven't seen much then, Joe. You need to watch more of my streams.
What has he done
I'm
on
just
stream?
kidding. Okay. Anyway,
Dale's getting way too much flack. Dale's just sleeping there. He's just sleeping on his bed.
he's cute.
Look at
Yeah, he's
him.
curled up.
He's adorable
Yeah, he's being good for once.
for once. Dale's always been 100% certified good boy.
Not certified, but okay.
I don't know from what I've seen. I
Well,
don't know
he
if
appreciates the compliments, Joe.
Yeah, he needs more of
Okay,
them.
anyway, back to this terrible chess game. Um, what was the last move?
So they saved
There's
the
so
rook
many.
fork.
Oh yeah. Okay, we're done talking about. Oh, finally, I played C3.
C3, lovely
I
move.
think that was actually maybe the first opportunity I had to play it. I don't know. He retreats. There's a lot of question marks and blunder and miss signs on the analysis on this. um, yeah, that's my response to this move as well. I think I was trying to like potentially trap this bishop, but there was no line in sight of how I was going to do that. So, um, and I think I was just also trying to like open this up, maybe push this pawn.
Yeah.
I think that was the idea I had there.
I think a question mark might be a little too harsh for this move, unless there's like something I'm missing. But I think this is fine.
Take it. Thank you. Um, oh, this is. Should I turn off the analysis? Okay. I guess this was a blunder,
Yeah,
but I
did you
don't know
turn
why.
on these moves? I don't know why it's showing up all of a sudden. Oh
Yeah,
wow,
the eval lines are off.
it's only from move 25 to 33 it's showing. That's kind of interesting. But
I don't know.
yeah,
Well, I don't know why this is a blunder because I don't think I saw it.
it says that's a miss. I feel like this is a good move though.
I thought attack this and then like I
Oh, probably it wants you to just what's something else? What's something else you could do? Hi Jenny.
hmm, I mean I can't take
Take what?
the pawn.
Why not?
Oh, oh, you know what? I thought about this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have taken this. I regretted not taking it. The reason that I didn't again was just because I was so attached to my knight.
And I think you're really focused on their light square bishop.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, this bishop's not like, I mean, it doesn't have that many places it can safely go, but it was sort of helping this. So like, I could have obviously done taken, and then I would have gotten this pawn. But I just couldn't part with the knight. I don't know. It was, yeah.
Well, when you go to e3, you're accepting that you are actually parting with a knight because what could they do when you go to e3?
What? E3. Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah. Why did they?
What could they do?
Yeah, they could just take. I know.
Yeah. So you're
Yeah,
exchanging the bishop for the knight, but in a different manner, right?
this would have been better because it like also attacks the rook. I don't know what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
you double isolate their b pawns. So here you're allowing that trade. Um, you actually kind of allow a tactic a little bit, if I can show maybe. What can they do with they can't save this pawn. Oh yeah, I guess they could take here too. Yeah. I was thinking they could move their bishop and do something fancy.
Is this a question to me? What they can do with the bishop?
Yeah.
Oh, well, does that do anything? No. Uh, that's really the only thing I see. Unless
Those are do you really think they would do that or
they would do, they can't like this does nothing.
Uh-huh.
This just loses a
Uh-huh.
bishop. This
Same with that. And
loses a bishop.
same with that.
This it loses a bishop.
Okay.
Also,
So
Jason, thank you so much for the raid. Thank
huge
you.
raid from Jason.
Yeah, Disney star.
Celebrity.
I know. Big raid. We are reviewing my tournament games. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you.
I remember the first time Jason tuned into your stream and you said something like you're like I'm not really good at like naming or remembering celebrities. And I was like, would you recognize a celebrity if they were in your chat? And they were like, "Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you were like, wait, is it Jason?" That was funny. I remember that.
Yeah, he was the one with he was verified, so it was like process of elimination. But now I know. I looked you
Yes.
up, Jason. You look familiar. I don't
Wow.
know which show you were in. I don't know what show you were in, but I do remember I think seeing you do like the you're watching Disney.
Whoa. That's so
Maybe.
cool.
Maybe I imagine
Maybe.
that. But anyway, it's an honor. Welcome. Um also Pam, thank you for the follow. Um anyway, sorry guys, I haven't really been reading the chat, but um welcome. We're happy to have you all. This is not a great example of a game, but I do win. Spoiler
Oh,
somehow. I know it
Emily
doesn't look like
always
it
has
right
to spoil the result.
now. Also, Zazo, thank you for the follow. Okay, so, um, were we doing a sideline or is
Yeah,
this?
I asked where their bishop could go. That's a little fancy. And you've
Oh,
been
they could take
eliminating.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they could take that pawn. I liked your idea of taking on c3 because that's really annoying too. But okay.
basically, I should not have played the knight move.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you played knight e3. You should have taken this guy and then
Mm-hmm.
taken this guy. But, you know, what could have been. So, but I suspect they didn't take your knight. What'd they do?
They did not take the knight, and I heavily regretted not taking this bishop later in the game, as you will see.
Well,
It became
okay, well,
much easier.
so they respond with a blunder here. Double question mark. So what did you do?
I took this with the knight.
You took the pawn or
Oh, I don't know. Oh, this bishop. Yeah, yeah. I took the bishop. I took the
okay.
bishop.
Okay, I'm like honestly like either would be good, but probably we want to take free pieces.
But I think the funny thing is, I think when I put this in the engine, look, I
It
have
wanted
no
you to
advantage.
take the pawn
I'm still
more.
losing, even being up a
Probably
piece.
is taking the pawn better because you could probably take their dark square bishop, right? It doesn't
No.
like either.
Why is this a blunder?
So peculiar. I mean, well, probably because they could have just taken your knight.
Um.
I'm surprised really taking the bishop's like not that good.
Oh yeah, that's probably just what they wanted to. Yeah. Yeah. I get no advantage from this move.
Well, probably because your king is so weak, and also taking this pawn is actually so big for them.
Yeah, I saw that. I was
And
like,
they're gonna bring the rook here, and
yeah, it was a little bit
can
of
you
a
turn on the
yikes.
lines?
Hmm?
The show the top three moves.
Can you not do that? Do you not have permit
No, because you're the
permission?
classroom owner, but that's okay. So yeah, here you really should take the bishop. Here they go here, which is so interesting. So yeah, it's saying your knight should take either of these two, but it's still like not that great for you. And really, if you look at the difference, like it's crazy that you can win a piece and still the computer favors black, and it's because like compare the kings, right?
It's because I didn't castle, Joe. I
Yeah,
know.
your
I've
opening
I've
could
learned
definitely improve.
the takeaway from this lesson has been, well, actually, all of the lessons has been just castle. There's not reason not to ever.
That's not entirely true, but
Okay,
castling
well,
is very important. I agree with that. That is true. That is very true.
Well, you
So,
guys are about to watch the comeback of the century.
okay. Well, I mean, already compared to like what they could have had, this is already a pleasant turn. So we like to take free pieces. You can turn the computer off again if you want. Sorry to hear that, Jenny, but hopefully things can start to look up soon. So, okay, you take the bishop. We're up a piece. Life's great. They take the pawn. Now, this is a little complicated because they're attacking your bishop, and they somehow have two connected pass pawns uh, really deep in your position, and your king's really exposed. So, I'm curious to see how you play this. You moved your bishop, surely.
Well, the move I played got a question mark, so I don't think it was very good.
Okay. I mean, I think this is where would you have gone differently?
I guess I could have like attacked this rook maybe. Because yeah, he doesn't really have like if he goes here, I mean, I don't know. That yeah, that would be good, obviously. Obviously. Yeah, that probably would have been better.
Yeah, because it's with the tempo.
I just yeah, I don't know. I This whole game was just like
It's still iffy because they can check you, right? They don't have to necessarily react, or checking you is kind of a good reaction.
I think
Um,
that's what they do, to be honest. But actually, yeah, um
okay.
that I just moved my king away, which I guess was the only good move.
Yeah. So the game continues. They go here, fancy.
Um Yeah, so now I'm like, oh my gosh. As you can imagine, I was not thrilled in this situation. Really, this whole game, I have not been pleased. Um, I
Okay.
did this knowing that I was losing a pawn, but I just didn't want it to come with a check, so I just
Fancy. King in
fancy.
the center. Yeah. Because
Oh yeah,
now
yeah. The king in the center was.
you take the
Ooh,
pawn. Yeah. It didn't like
well, yeah.
that.
That's what I should have done. I
Check.
Well, it said that was a blunder. Why is that a blunder?
Probably because they can check you,
Hmm.
but
So
yeah,
I'm just marching my king down the board. I don't know. At this point, I was thinking it would be.
your king is your most advanced piece.
Told you that this was going to be a disappointment for everyone.
Not a disappointment.
And actually, the next game is worse. So,
It's a spectacle. Check.
uh, yeah. But then I felt like that move kind of helped me because
Yeah.
I think my king is pretty safe over here. Like they're not getting both of those rooks in easily.
Uh,
Or they are. But yeah,
okay.
then I just attacked both the pieces again, and then to
Okay.
attack the bishop. And then um, I
So
took the bishop.
this isn't great.
I mean, I
What?
see that
Because
there's this threat, but then I would just come here.
okay,
Oh, but then this is yeah,
you
yeah.
were up a piece though, right? Remember?
Oh yeah. Oh
So not after this. After their tactic. So
yeah.
they went. Okay, I guess they could have done. They probably should have done the other rook, but whatever. They're forking you. And now we find ourselves down two pawns.
Yep.
So we were up a piece, and now we're down two pawns. So what went wrong? Something must have gone wrong.
Everything in this game that could have gone wrong went wrong for me, except what you're about to witness.
Oh my gosh.
So I know you're all on the edge of your seats to see how this turns into a dub for me. Um, Did I deserve it? No. But somehow, um, yeah, I mean, that was really my only option. Um, and then I just like start eating pawns, I think. At this point, I even wait, why did I do that? Oh, yeah, I just was like, I can attack these.
Wow.
Yes!
So now you're up a pawn.
That. So, yeah, this is what happens at. And then he resigned.
Oh wow. Okay. Beautiful.
Yep, Dale's sleeping right now. Yeah.
Do you want to go back and maybe find where things went poorly for you?
Well, it went poorly from the beginning. Like, I should have just
Like
taken the
like
pawn.
let's look at I want to look at the sequence of events where you go from up a piece to down two pawns. Tell me, like, where does that happen?
I think it was here.
Okay, what happened?
Oh no. No.
Is it earlier or after?
Uh, well, I'm losing the whole time. When did I take the... Okay, this is... All right. Here I'm up... I'm only up two pieces, and then I lose. Yeah. So there's one.
Well, this was to win the bishop, so I wouldn't fault you on this move.
Okay. Well, now I'm only up one pawn.
Well, you're not up pawn.
I'm up a minor piece.
Yeah, for two
But,
pawns.
yeah.
Okay. Check, king move.
Mm, I mean, I guess I would be the alternative going here. That probably would have been the only way to save that.
That looks like a good
Or,
move.
yeah, that probably was the only.
I mean, what you did is it's not winning or losing material, right? What you did was a trade, right? Because you moved your king, they took your pawn, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
they took, and then I took this one.
exactly. So that's a trade.
Okay, fair.
Okay, so check. You move the king. Another check. You move the king. They grab a pawn.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, they could have grabbed two different pawns, but I wouldn't fault you here either. Not yet.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
here you can take a pawn.
Which I did not.
No. Yeah, you go
But I
here.
think,
Here you
I mean,
also could have taken a pawn, but you didn't.
but I got the pawn eventually. I think. Yeah.
Well, it cost you.
Yeah.
So we're getting to where you had your blunder.
Um,
We're still up a piece.
but now like materials even by
Yeah, but we're
not.
up a piece.
Okay. Um,
I guess yeah, right here is where honestly, this is kind of where you lost your last move. So this is the problem that was at this point you can't really save your piece is the problem. That's the problem. So the problem is
um,
actually earlier. because at this point it's not savable. So yeah, probably here's best is rook b3 to save your pawn.
With
Okay, it's also saying c4.
oh, wait, c4.
Yeah, just
Oh, yeah,
pushing.
then the bishop protects.
Yeah.
Mm.
But it's better to save the pawn. It's interesting, like king d3 is saying it's the third best choice and it's still fine. After this though, it really doesn't like this capture. And it's because um your pieces are lined up here. So you're susceptible to these tactics. Interestingly, it actually likes to give the other check, give this up, but then they're gonna get both of these, right?
Well, couldn't you just take with the rook on f2 and then this is protect?
Well,
Good.
wait. So here you're saying check, take. This is a very forced sequence, right? So let's back up a little bit. They go here and you play king here, which is not like the best. The best is to defend the pawn, but this is still fine. Capturing here is the blunder. Capturing is the blunder because your pieces get lined up opposite the rook. So the check they did is fine. Because here you messed up when you go here. So here's where you should probably play like this move attacking the bishop. But you go here, and now after this rook move, there's really no way for you to save both pieces because they're just simply going to double up, and you have no defense. So
Well, what about king f3 and then rook f2? Then they
so
take this.
yeah,
Oh no, on both the rooks. Yeah, you can't put your king. Yeah,
they're going to
king's
double.
not that
This is
yeah.
at this point you're losing a piece, so there's no saving this. Yeah, you can take on f2 and defend, but the problem is they're gonna double up anyways, and there's no defense of like the knight is pinned because if you move the knight, you're losing the bishop, and you can't move anything to save the knight. Good stretch.
Oh, Dale.
Yeah.
What are you doing? He's just like standing.
Okay, so what you did king f3, and it's the same problem. They're just gonna double, and you have nothing to save these pieces. So the issue is you like okay, when you take this pawn, you're losing a piece because your pieces are doubled opposite the rook. Now it looks like they're saved now, but what they can do is a tactic. They should give this check, which is not necessarily that logical because it drops the bishop, but they're getting both your knight and the bishop in return. So they get the piece back immediately, and they're gonna get the second piece back because your king's cut off. You can't really go save the bishop, and you also can't defend because it's attacked twice. So they're just winning this piece. So they're winning both of these pieces for the price of this one. I can't hear you.
Like you can't hear me?
Now I can.
Oh,
It's the noise gate setting.
I don't know. Yeah, that must be a Discord thing. What if here after the take? Oh,
So yeah, here they mess up. They give the check with the wrong piece. So now they
oh,
let you off the hook, right? So
ah.
check here, and here's where you put yourself back on the hook. So yes, here you need to get your pieces I guess in a better situation because when you go here, you're allowing this rook to skewer you again, and your pieces just aren't defended. So you can't leave your pieces lined up like this. You have to, I don't know, save them. So another reason why it's not easy for you to save them is because your king is the only active piece, which is like
Mhm.
so opposite of what needs to. You need your pieces to be active. So your rook right now is babysitting this pawn, and this rook is babysitting this pawn, right? So they have no lift, they have no access to the board. So when you are playing with you're like attacking with the king. It's kind of funny because now you're skewered. So now your king is trying to do everything. He's coming back, he's attacking, he's trying to defend, but he can't do it all on his own because now the two rooks are just overpowering all of your pieces. So even though they're down a piece, they have the activity and then they're going to get the piece right back. Plus, they're going to have activity. So they're going to also end up being up material. This is winning for black for sure. You try to say, okay, I'm going to lose the piece, but I'm going to get this piece back. But it tactically doesn't work because your king is so exposed and the rooks are so good. So it looks like a trade at first, but any rook check is just a fork. Now they messed up. They went with the wrong rook. And I don't know why you're so hesitant. You haven't taken this pawn so many times, but
I
okay.
think that's like my protection from getting ladder mated or something.
Okay. That's fair. It's kind of funny, but okay. Yeah, they mess up. They give you a pawn. Here I was thinking you could play f6.
Yeah.
But taking b7 is also good. Probably your rook trade wasn't necessary. But yeah, they already mess up, and now they're actually down material. Trading was also just a horrible idea. So this was really bad by them.
Oh yeah, by them. But I was like, I think it's good for me because
It's great for you, of course. It's winning. So their rook and pawn endgame was pretty bad. And so yeah, you had a bad opening and a great ending.
Well, it's because I watched the sandwich analogy. Actually, it didn't come into play this time, but
They
you
didn't
had a
let you
pretty good
promote.
ending video.
Okay. Yeah, the two rooks and the king. Well, it was actually it really should be one.
It's a
Anyway,
pawn and a rook. It's different. I was just trying to give you more credit.
yeah, too much credit than I deserve. Um, okay. So this game really like we can go a lot earlier. This is kind of a middle game thing where like yeah, here they messed up their tactic. They let you off the hook and now you need to better focus on like it's hard when you don't like know the tactics, right? So when you go here, you're susceptible to a tactic. The tactic being that they're just going to double up on this file. You're losing a piece. It was the same thing back here when you took this piece. This is another tactic. They can check you and then they win both your pieces. So the problem is they're having good tactics that you're missing because your position is really bad. And your position's bad because your development is bad from the opening. So like really the problems really stem from the start of the game, right? Where you play b4 instead of moving out a piece, right? You could have brought the knight here, right? So that's one example. And then you play f3 when like you could have brought the bishop out to like c4 or something.
Yeah.
So, and then also you're bringing the queen out. Your queen typically develops towards the end, right? The queen's typically the last piece to develop because, well, maybe you should tell me why.
The most valuable piece. And they can win tempos by attacking it, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Ryan, for the sub. Shout out to Chicken as well. Very good to see you. I love that you already know the answer, right? I'm like, hey, why should we bring the queen out last? And you're like,
I know
well,
the concepts. I just have a hard time applying them to my games.
and why is that?
Also,
Oh, the $1,000,000 question.
because I think I see something better, and then I do that, and it's never better. So.
Well, how is queen d2 better, or like maybe like b4 or f3? Like these moves are not like at what point has someone told like okay in the opening you want to play moves that are like gonna like you're putting these pawns are like these barriers, right? That you're seeing the knights move and maybe you've been scarred by a knight in a past game where you're like okay I'm gonna prevent every knight move from ever happening. You're like okay the knight can go here so I'm gonna play b4. Ah, now the knight's not gonna go there anymore. And okay the knight's here so I'm gonna play f3 and now the knight's not gonna go here anymore. The problem is the knight's gonna just
I did
dance
that to
around
try
you.
and like solidify this pawn chain. But yes, I think I'm too paranoid about my opponent coming to my side of the board with their minor.
Yeah, you have to focus more on the piece development because when you push these pawns, you're not pushing pieces. You need these pieces are sitting back here. Like, please get me off the back rank. I want to play. And instead you're putting these pawns out. Like this knight literally was like, I really want to be on f3, and then it sees the pawn. This is like the new hire that doesn't know anything, and the knight's like the veteran that's been at the company for forever, and the knight's
Yeah,
been
I was
waiting
thinking
for a
of like the
promotion.
starting lineup versus like the bench warmers, like, that just are, yeah, not supposed to be playing, but then they're in the prime
Yeah,
position.
so your pieces are your star athletes, right? Your pawns are like they're the bench, right? You don't you honestly these pawns are really important for your king safety. Your king, like I don't know what your king was doing this game, but it was like your king was trying to quarterback. Also, yeah, so queen d2, like I don't know what the logic was here, but like they bring here, they go bishop here. Now you have to move the queen again. And
Yeah,
then you
there
didn't go to
were,
f2.
I told you it was
It's
gonna be
it
a
was a little
disappointment.
messy. Yeah,
And
here I was saying bishop to g2, but I guess the computer doesn't. What does it want? It wants you to take on c6. Okay. Okay, also queen d3 is very logical actually. What does queen here even do? What does that move do?
it's pinning the knight, and I mean,
That's one
it's
thing.
cutting off all of the escape squares for my king. So it's just like, I
Well,
mean,
your king shouldn't need escape squares like when you haven't like yeah, it's preventing you from castling or
that
moving
too.
the
Well, at
king.
this point, I was like, I'm not casting.
Where there's a concrete threat that the queen's doing here.
I mean, no, because then I win a bishop. Um, uh, oh, then they win the rook.
Well, they're attacking your pawn.
Yeah.
So that was
All right.
this was why I wanted to play bishop g2 is it defends the
Uh,
pawn.
yeah.
So
See, I just don't always see
well,
the hanging pieces.
bishop
Right.
g2 is a blunder because they have a really nice tactic. But what's another way to defend the pawn? You ended up pushing it, but that doesn't really defend it. So, how can we defend this pawn that's not bishop g2 and not pushing it?
I guess, yeah, queen d3.
Yeah,
The only
it's the
Yeah.
only way. The computer also likes taking on c6 because you're just taking material. Because this is like creating a threat or just
Mhm.
capturing something, right? Hello, Speechus. Hello, Joshua. Okay, yeah, queen d3 would have been really nice because you're also trying to just trade queens, right?
Mhm.
So you ended up going for this queen d2 idea, but only after you played f4. But queen d3, you don't need to play the f pawn move. You could just play queen to 3 immediately and try to
Yeah.
trade. So that would have been helpful. So okay, pawn push. Here's what's really cool about the bishop g2 blunder. Remember what we were saying about the g pawn, right? Can we push the g
Yeah.
pawn?
No.
And when you play here and they take, can we take the pawn back?
No.
Why?
Because then they have bishop h4, which is
Yeah, bishop h4 mate. So what would you say about this pawn?
which one? The g
Yeah,
pawn? It's pretty.
if we can't push it or take.
I mean, I guess you just leave it.
Yeah, so I would say it's pinned in a sense.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Tactically pinned. interestingly, it's pinned because if we move it, we're getting mated. So they can take advantage of that. When we go bishop to g2, how would they take advantage of the fact that the pawn can't move?
Eight. Uh, yeah, knight take.
Not taking it, because we can take back with the pawn.
But then the bishop. Oh no, I was thinking the bishop was like on four. I don't know. I mean that is you could play bishop h4 still. They take and then you win. No, no, that doesn't do anything. I don't know. I don't see it.
So they could move a piece where that pawn normally could take it,
Oh, to try and trick me.
perhaps.
Oh, but I have to take
You don't have
because it
to.
threatens. What? I mean, the only thing I would think that would do that would be like knight f4.
Yeah, knight f4 is a really fancy move, because if we take, it's mate again.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really nice tactic. They're also just threatening to take our bishop that we moved.
Mm.
So we would have to bring the bishop back. Or, interestingly, we could defend the bishop with the rook or the king. But not a great position to be in.
No, I was sweating in this position for sure, saying
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the first one done with my game, and I did not win, so that is
Going for
embarrassing.
the first game over prize. Here's the thought process that I'm having. What I liked, you developed the knight in the last move. They bring the queen in anyways. They're threatening this pawn. I figured bishop g2 because I'm developing a piece and defending a pawn, but it's not really addressing the underlying problem. The issue of the position is that we cannot castle, right? Because the queen is just a beast in our half of the board. Just right up in our space, right? So bishop g2, it does develop a piece off the back rank, but it doesn't help us get closer to castling. So the only way that we can get closer to castling is by removing the piece that's preventing us from castling. So that's why queen d3 is actually such a good move here. It's
But then if they take with the bishop, then I still can't castle.
what do you? Well, no, you're
Oh,
right.
well,
You're
like
not
let's say they
threatening.
ignore it. Yeah,
Yeah, if they
but then
ignore
I
it,
just
then
have
maybe we could play like knight d1
okay, yeah, yeah.
or something. But that move wasn't available to us. Even if we can trade the queens off, let's say they castle and we take and they take, like yeah, we can't castle, but we're also not threatened of getting like mated anymore, right? And now we can also like once you trade the queens off, castling's not that important. So if you don't like castling, then you should really like trading queens. Because if you trade queens, then the importance of castling is a lot less. Right? Does that make sense?
Well, that's why at this point I was like, I can't castle, so that's what made the queen trade even more appealing. Other than it just eliminates this very
Yeah.
scary situation that I.
So the thing is, you went for the queen trade by giving up the f pawn first and then playing queen d2. When
Yeah, the F pawn move was.
you still had queen d3 here, and now also you have queen to d4 actually. The computer likes both of those much better than queen d2. And the problem with queen d2 is you line yourself up with the bishop. So after this trade, they can actually just take. They should take with check. They thought they were being fancy and winning your knight, but now you block with the knight. And they thought that they'd still win this pawn, but this is where you started actually playing some good moves. Captures, and you didn't recapture right away. You played the really smart h4. You're dislodging the bishop from this diagonal so they don't have a discovery anymore. And only then do you recapture. And I really like this. You keep the pawn structure intact. Same thing here. You saw that your knight was pinned, so you couldn't take with a knight, although you want to. But you didn't even take with a pawn here, because it really kind of separates all your pawns. So you played rook d1 first. Now, they should probably have like pushed a pawn or taken something. They didn't. So they messed up here. Now knight takes d5. And here I was saying I would take white. Bishop d4, and now, yeah, but your bishop move was really smart, right? I was thinking something like c3, but now they have this really annoying bishop f2, and now your rook has to go somewhere bad. So when you move the bishop first, this is really smart because you're still going to play c3, but after something like bishop f2, you can play rook f1 now, which wasn't available when your bishop was still on f1. So developing a piece is great. Now, here's where things maybe got a little tricky. You played the wrong rook move, in my opinion. This rook, yeah, like I feel like at some point probably you should have played c3. You play it now, and now here, yeah, probably taking the bishop would be good. Especially after f2 is a big mistake. Now, this is where the computer actually likes your position. So
And then I screw up.
you misplay this for sure with knight here. They didn't take. They play here, which is clearly bad because they lose the piece. And here, like, even down a piece, like, their position's still good because of how strong these pawns are. You really let the pawn stay on for too long. And also, this is where, even though the queens are off the board, having your king so exposed really haunts you because of just how active their rooks are and how passive your pieces are. So your king is exposed. They have really strong pawns. Even though they lost a piece, their pawns are really good. You move the bishop to a suboptimal place, really. And now this is where they can really thrive. So check, king c2. They're going for this tactic. You should definitely save the pawn rather than you go for a sharp line. So this is something very tactical, and this is kind of a gamble, right? So if you defend the pawn, you can always play king d3 later, right? So you're going into something that has high stakes, low reward. So your reward is like you get out of this without losing material, which is like that's great or whatever. But the risk is you're gonna get like mated or you're gonna lose a piece, which you ended up doing. So really, if you're like, okay, I like this king d3 move because I'm attacking the bishop and I'm attacking the pawn, right? Why not? Like, there's nothing that they're gonna do that's gonna prevent that. You could do that move later. You can just take one little step or a little timeout to save the pawn. Pushing it would also be good. But rook b3, save the pawn, and only then play something like king d3.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
this is a good moment that you could take like a little pause, a little timeout before you kind of rushed king d3 a little bit. Because then they get into this real tactical sequence. They grab a pawn, you grab a pawn, your king's out in no man's land, and you're going to get checked all over the place. And you're going to hope that there's some sort of defense where your king can run away. Whereas you could just save your pawn for like one move. Your king is still a little sheltered a little bit. And then later you can try to, bring your other rook to d1, like get this bishop from attacking your pawn and try to scoop up his e-pawn somehow.
Also, thanks for the follows, guys. Angelic Rules, Fanto, Nathorn, and Talk. Thank you, guys. Yeah. So, not a great game, as I prefaced.
Well, It wasn't great to start. I think your opening definitely needs some improvement. Your middle game, like your king was just too weak. It's really like I would love to see a game where you develop your pieces, you get castled, and then you go from there, right?
I develop my pieces, I get castled. I may or may not have hung a bishop, and my opponent may or may not have not seen it. Um, anyway, but I castled, and my pieces were out, and then it was very boring. So actually, I'm very interested what you have to say about that game because there aren't, like, I didn't know what to do for half the game. Thank you guys for the follow, Steel Stallion Glimmer. Okay, I'm not gonna keep, yeah, anyway.
Oh, you can keep doing that. That's fine.
I'm interrupting the very valuable
No, you're really not.
that I'm getting right now.
I kind of am done with this game. If you wanted to go to the next one, did you have
Okay.
anything else before we move on?
No, I can't look at this ever again, actually.
Well, you better remember it because that's how you're gonna learn.
I remember everything I did wrong. So
Yeah?
yeah, let
Do you
me,
wanna
okay,
you wanna list it all out?
I mean, we don't have enough time
Oh, not
today.
enough time to go. Okay, all right. That's fair.
Okay, this is the one, yeah. Okay, this one, this is the one I really feel like, actually, I don't feel like I just didn't try in this game. And I think if I would have tried, I definitely could have won, especially after I just got bored with it. It was like such a long game and it was so boring. And I just, anyway.
That's
Okay.
rough.
Oh, I'm playing black. So, um, this was the first time I think
Hold on.
I actually got to kind of play my. Go
Did
ahead.
you invite me?
Oh,
I want to make sure I can see
oh.
it.
Okay.
If that's okay.
It's on the right. Um, thank you, Super Trigger. Yes, I did try. Brett, hello. Speed chess, hello. Um, yes, trick and or threaten something. That was what he was trying to do with that knight move.
All right, I
Um,
should be there.
okay.
So, black pieces. Last game of the day of the tournament.
I will say this entire game, I pretty much had double my opponent's time, which I think goes to show that I was moving too quickly. But like I said, I didn't really care in this, which in retrospect I should have, but my opponent ended up like winning money and he was very happy about it, and so that made me happy.
You guys were in cahoots. You
Yeah.
kind of prearranged that. Like, did he give you a split of the cash or?
No, he didn't know. He didn't know that I wasn't trying, but I knew that I was just
Oh,
playing lazy moves. I
well, I
Okay. But
mean,
anyway, I did castle and I developed my pieces, so you're gonna be actually pleasantly surprised.
okay,
At least the opening.
okay. Let's see
I think
it.
this one is like a reverse of the other one where it starts out, well, minus a bishop hang, which you will see.
Okay, okay.
Spoiler. Minus that, pretty good until like the late middle game is when I just was like, this just needs to end. I honestly was close to resigning. Like, even though it was a very equal position, I'll just show you. But then my opponent, he did win. So here we are.
Yeah,
My
honestly,
finally, I get to play the Caro like in a true sense.
okay, okay.
Um, but then, okay, I know this is actually the classical variation of this, but I didn't know what to do. Um, I
Yeah.
think actually I was supposed to, I don't know, whatever. I was attacking this,
I mean,
this
I love this move. Yeah, it's great.
developing,
Yeah.
well, making a threat. So he responds, defends. Other knight
Wow.
comes out. Yeah, I know.
Amazing.
Amazing. I guess he was trying to prevent me from bringing the bishop up, which
Mm-hmm.
is when I instead went bishop f5
Okay.
because I was feeling extremely generous and I
Yeah.
just said, "Here's a free
No, that's
bishop for
fine.
your troubles." And to
He takes it.
which he responds,
No. Okay. Okay. No, this is great news.
"Oh, as soon as I saw this is what I was saying, like a higher power came into play here. He did not take the bishop, and that is when I said, I can definitely win this game. Like, I saw it as soon I played it so quick, and again, like my fault. Like as soon as he played whatever the move was before, bishop comes out. Oh, as soon as he played this, it was like an immediate response. And then I literally like as soon as I took my hand off the piece, I just smiled and I was like, well, and he didn't take it. So then I said, oh well, I think I can win this
I hope
because,
so. I hope you
but I
can
lost.
win this. If your opponent doesn't take your free piece, that like that's such a great sign for you. You're like, this guy didn't take a free bishop after my blunder.
Already, I went into this game just being like,
This
I'm
is
happy with my 2 wins. I'm here just
oh no. No, you
to.
can't think like that. When
I
I
did
see
regret it afterwards,
when
but
your opponent blunders, this is like such great news. You got to see the light where you're like, wow, this guy is actually like so beatable right now. It's unreal. Like how
that is what went through
beatable.
my head.
You should be like,
Um,
I'm crushing this guy now.
so
Like
I
this,
think
I
okay, so
blundered, I
you'll
messed up, but now I've been given a second chance, and now I really got to
that
capitalize.
that's what I thought. And I think I played pretty well until, like I said, the late middle game when I just was like, I cannot play this game. And
Okay.
so
So
you'll
something
see.
flipped. Yeah, okay, okay.
So here I'm like, okay, I have a chance at like I'm gonna play the moves I should play.
Uh-huh.
Um, so here I think I regretted making this move later, but my idea was to push this pawn at some point.
Mm-hmm.
This was dumb. I shouldn't have done this. Like it was I don't
What
know.
what should
I
you have done instead?
developed my dark squared bishop,
Yeah.
which this is really the only place it can go.
No.
Um,
There's another place you could have gone.
yeah. Well, I saw an opportunity to make a threat, so
Go
I
back
did.
2 moves. Okay, one more. All right. Where else could your bishop have gone?
I mean, I could have traded these off.
Yeah. And
But with the Caro, like the dark squared bishops are better because all my pieces are on light squares.
okay.
So, but then his are on darks. So I did consider that move. I did, but then I was like,
But you see how bring your knight back to d7, preparing for e5 is a little too far out, right? You're thinking, okay, I want to push my e pawn, right? So how do I do that? I have to bring my knight back to d7. It's like you're thinking middle game. You're still in the opening here, right? So you still gotta just bishop e7 and castle, and life's grand.
good point. I think in general that's the problem I have in my games is that I try and overthink the when I need to compartmentalize. Like this is when you think about this, and that's when you like think about this.
Yeah, I think for me it's like if I haven't castled yet and I haven't developed all of my pieces yet, that's gonna take higher priority than making a pawn break in the center.
Hmm.
So knowing where you are, what stage of the game you're in, is gonna help you prioritize what moves need to be played, right? So like in the end game, we know that we need to bring our king into the center, right?
Hmm.
But we would never do that in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
So certain stages of the game require certain moves. So you're just jumping the gun a little bit, right? You know, one of the principles is you don't want to move the same piece twice, right? You shouldn't bring the queen out too early, right? If you just follow the things that you already know, it's gonna surprise you just how much better you're gonna be. Like your results are gonna be much better if you
Great.
can.
I think this has been a revelation for me actually. This this conversation because I just like overthink everything and then that's why I don't play the moves that I should in this. Okay. So yeah, just in the beginning, focus on the opening principles, then you can think about this stuff
Yeah,
later.
you
Yeah.
you might see something really tempting or something that's like, oh, this pawn's like hanging or like they're gonna go for something. Like your job is to not like revolutionize a chess opening, like do something crazy, right? You just need to get the king castled, develop the pieces, and then you can really dive into all the different tactical ideas, the pawn breaks, like remaneuvering your pieces. You're doing that a little too early. So if you just take it, get out of the opening first, even as tempting as other things might be, you're gonna be much better off in the long run. So okay, you play knight back to d7. You brought the queen out to b6. You're going after their b pawn.
Okay. proud of this opening because it was much better than the last one, but clearly, yeah, there's room for improvement, we can say. So, I guess this was his. Wait, what? Oh, I played queen. Oh yeah, so this is his way of defending this pawn. So yeah, it was like a stupid move that I shouldn't like. It was just a waste. Oh,
I wouldn't call queen b6 a waste
I mean,
because
yeah, it's creating like a tempo. I mean, now he's having to respond to this threat. So,
there's
uh,
a few reasons why it's not a waste. First off, you're right. It does create a reaction, right? So you made him push the b pawn.
mm-hmm.
So that's first off. Second off, it is technically a development move, right? You're getting a piece off the back rank. So that's two reasons why it's not a waste, right? What you did maybe in the last game was queen d2 back to queen d1. That might have been a waste. But okay. This is not a waste move, just to say.
Like,
This is
okay,
this
so
you're
here
doing
I should have
something.
ignored this and probably, well, yeah, there's not really a threat, I don't think, because, oh yeah, that was what I was worried about actually, so that's why I played this. Or wait, did I go here? Because then that still happens. So that was, I should have
Honestly,
gone here.
a5 is aggressive. I like you're creating a threat. So
Yeah, but then there's this, which I can't,
yeah,
and I just have to move this knight somewhere.
and that's
You
fine.
know, I don't know. Okay.
It's fine. They didn't
Oh,
even do it. So
and then I probably should have taken this, but I didn't. Now I said time to cancel. I don't know. Why didn't I take that? That's so dumb. I would have taken. I would have won a pawn.
well, your opponent gave you your free bishop, so now you're returning the generosity and not taking their free stuff. So
Ugh. It's like, yeah. Like I said, I just wasn't.
I like that they brought
Yeah.
their bishop back.
So yeah, there we go. Woo!
Castle's huge. Rooks connected.
Huge, huge move. Um,
Is this the same player as the previous game?
I know, right? A very different game. Very different.
And yet somehow. So honestly, like as a coach would say that I would much prefer you to play a game like this and lose than a game like previously and win, right? Because like you can even see that the results of the game is not even that reflective of like the level of play, right? As much as you might not want to admit, it's like the result
I
really.
said one of them I did not deserve to win. This one I obviously didn't deserve to win because I didn't, but like I also don't feel like I really tried. I feel like if I would have been, I was making lazy moves. Like I said, I had like double my opponent's time, which on I yeah,
You're just like, I just want to get out of here.
basically yes.
Okay.
I was planning on making a charcuterie board and having wine, and I was like, I just want to go home and do that.
Wow.
A long weekend. Yeah, that was what was getting me through. But then yeah. Uh
Okay. I appreciate the extra context. That's really helping.
yeah, so no wonder. I was just like playing quick, trying to speed things along. But then my opponent, he was really taking his time, which
Okay.
again showed me that he was deserving of the win. Um,
I think you got to get rid of this vocabulary of deserving and
but
not
I'm
deserving.
playing a tournament now that I told you I'm playing another tournament in January, and now that I know what to expect, like I'm bringing my A game. I'm castling. I'm developing my pieces. I'm playing solid, and that's what I'm gonna be doing.
You're not going
And
to play too
you're
fast.
gonna be so proud.
You're not going to be blending your pieces in one move.
Yeah. No free bishops in that game.
That's
Yeah.
why it's good to make mistakes because you can learn from them, right?
Yeah.
So don't be like, oh, you're gonna be so disappointed. And what I will be disappointed if you show me a game from your next tournament where you blunder a bishop in one move out of the opening. I'll be like, we went over this. Like that's where we would have some disappointment, right? If you're showing me this is your first ever over the board tournament, I'm so already impressed and like excited that you would have done that to begin with and to have already signed up for your second tournament. I think that's huge, right? That's amazing. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to play a sloppy game. It's okay to play, solid and then still lose. Like it's okay because this is what we're doing is reviewing your games to learn from them, right? That's what we're doing here. So, um, I think you're doing great things, and as long as you learn from it and improve from it, then there's really no way that you could disappoint me. You're muted again. So everything you're saying is just you gotta fix the
I'm
audio.
hoping that I play this A takes
Okay.
before move because I'm actually concerned about this. I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what do
Well,
I do if this happens? I mean, I just retreat the knight, but then it's like, then what? I guess I could go here and then, yeah,
I
that's
I'm assuming that they're gonna take on f5 here. Okay. So they didn't. That's fine. So now what do you do?
um
Are they what does this move do that they just made? What are they doing?
no, this is like I don't have enough. Uh, yeah, this is why I played this was because I want to push this pawn. I see that they have three defenders. I only have two attackers, but I really didn't want this knight here, so I just traded. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and like obviously I just don't take the last piece.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, so what happens if you don't take? What are they threatening?
well, this is free.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then yeah, and um, I think that's the main thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I took with this one.
Smart. Okay.
Yeah,
They're
so
going
then he
fancy.
takes my bishop,
Uh-huh.
which I guess to pin this or something. I don't know, but like this is defended. I don't really understand. I don't know. I was kind of surprised by that move.
Uh-huh.
Like the obvious thing would have been,
Yeah.
I don't know, take the knight. But
Yeah.
anyway, he took that. I recaptured.
Okay.
He takes. Um, yeah, this is where I think I just like ignored this threat for now. Yeah, I wanted to open up like this.
Okay.
I know, like, yeah, because then it's at least an equal flashing, so to speak.
I like the terminology.
What would you call that?
Trade, perhaps?
Oh, my other coach calls it a power balance. I was looking.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
hot
we
take.
can call it whatever. Yeah, I see what's happening. You're attacking the thing with two pieces. They're defending it with two pieces. They go here.
Um, why did they do that? I guess they're just developing at this point.
Yeah.
So from here, like the game gets pretty boring, to be honest with you. Okay, I took the bishop. I'm not sure why I did that. I think I wanted him to recapture with I don't know why I did that, but I took with it
I
because
mean,
I
I
was
could give you a lot of reasons. It
because
seems
this bishop's like fianchettoed. It's pretty good. I took it.
that's not what I would call it.
What would you call it?
What's a fianchettoed bishop?
It's like on the long. Oh, it's not. This would be. Sorry.
Well, specifically, it's when the pawn on the G file or the B file move up one, and then the bishop goes like right behind it.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I
Yeah,
I that wasn't the right word. Obviously, this was just a good bishop, and my
it
knight's like, oh
is. That
yeah,
you could argue is White's best piece.
okay, so good. So I feel validated in this decision.
Yeah, it's a great move. Also, yeah, if they take with their pawn, then their pawn becomes weak, and they kind of open up the center a little bit for your queen. Your queen opens up on that diagonal.
Hmm.
So, for that reason, there's a move.
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This okay.
Yeah,
Actually, we're gonna get there, and I spent a long time calculating like a potential forced mate, but it involved us sacrificing this. We'll get to it. I think it was a little too crazy, so I didn't play it. But then after that, I think We'll get it. We'll get to it. But then I lost all of my like potential momentum, and I was like, "You just you. It's your
When
game.
you
Like
say you
I,
spent a long time, how much time? Because you said you were
like
like,
minutes.
okay, pawn push. Okay.
Yeah. So hang on. Yeah. So now, like, obviously I can't because this stupid knight is there. But there was something. We're getting to it. Okay. Ugh. I shouldn't have played this because, as you can see, like this creates some possible. Oh, actually, this is just a bad. Yeah, that's like really bad. That ends up happening. Just
I think h6. There's like h6. You're allowing the knight to take your bishop, so it maybe isn't great, but you're at least creating a flight square, I'd say. Um, what
yeah.
else? Can we go back a move or two? Yeah. Go forward one with their knight move. What does this do?
It attacks my bishop and it protects this pawn. And it
Is
protects this square.
is that important?
Yeah. Well, not right now, but like the fact that I have a dark squared bishop makes it, yes.
Maybe. Okay. What is it? Is that all, or is there more?
Um, where can, oh, where can the knight go?
Remember in
Uh,
the previous game they put their knight on the edge of the board, and we were saying there's some
oh, it
consequence.
opens up the, where was it before? I didn't remember. Oh yeah, it opens up the queen. Yeah. Attacking this pawn.
Wow, what a fun little detail.
So I should have played this.
No.
Oh no, because then I lose a bishop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my point here is their move did multiple things. They made two threats. You could call it a fork, maybe even, if you will, because they're making two threats at the same time. So it's a good move. It's a discovery.
Hmm.
So if we go back a bit, actually, when they play here and you castle, first and foremost, I love castling, but I don't necessarily like that you're allowing this trade here because our f pawns become doubled, right? This pawn doubles, and this pawn becomes isolated.
Hmm.
So our pawn becomes weak, right? So probably better, you might want to either bring the bishop back or trade it, right? Um,
And I was gonna have to open up that file, and then if I put my king over there, like all of this, just like my plan in this moment was to castle because I got in such a bad position in my last game from not castling that that was my
yeah.
priority, even though it seems
You
like it was delayed.
you can
But yeah.
trade and then castle.
Oh, I see.
But
That probably,
but
yeah.
let's
That's
look at
actually,
also I think if you had left your knight here and they go here, you can just like go here or something or
yeah, the knight move, I regretted
uh,
that like as soon as I played it.
because probably the best square for your knight is to come back here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Hey,
But
Mantar.
yeah.
Uh, okay. So trade I like here. So now this is where it's kind of interesting because you could even consider not taking the bishop. You can consider saving your knight because this is where you mentioned they did something really weird, right? They offer this trade. You take. They take not the knight back, but they take your bishop.
Hmm.
So you have a choice now. You can take their bishop or you can save your knight. Both are probably like fine, but
Hmm.
it's just an interesting decision. You decide to take here, and now this is where I feel like your pawns are kind of messed up a little bit.
Yeah. Like
So,
I think the reason I did that is because I was like, oh, a great outpost, but my knight can't even go there because I moved it here again.
well, so they're taking this knight. This
Hmm.
move is fine. I mean, for the longest time, I don't know how many moves, but you should have taken on B4 like infinite number of times.
Yeah, I saw it like as soon as I played it. I mean, I had this. Yeah, I don't know.
It's
I don't know
okay.
what.
Like we can just kind of look past that a little bit, but probably it's in the future not great to look past that, but that is just something really it's like you gotta when you first did it, that's really when you kind of should think about it. Is like, okay, I'm offering a trade, right? They can either push, they could take, or they could do nothing. These are their three options. They chose the third option of doing nothing. They castled. So now you can react. And you were just like, all right, they didn't do anything, so I'm just going to continue with my thing and just castle or whatever. But this is a great time for you to just actually be like, wow, that was unexpected. They didn't take, they didn't push, so now I should be able to capitalize on this by taking. I should be winning material. So, and you should be kind of like liking this because if they take back, your bishop doesn't have to go to e7. You don't want to take with something that's already developed when you could take with something that hasn't
Oh,
developed,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And now you're ready to castle. So you're kind of doing multiple things here. You're not only winning material, but you're still helping yourself develop, right?
Hmm.
You're giving your pieces more squares to go to. This bishop sees a lot more of the board from here than it did from e7.
Hmm.
So even if you're in a like develop first kind of mindset, you're really helping yourself out. Wow, the Tina. Thank you, Santos. That's really admirable. I appreciate that. Shout out to the Chestina. Haven't seen you in way too long. I hope you're doing well. We're reviewing Emily's games from her first ever over the board tournament where she has been offering free pieces and not taking free pawns and
Oh,
uh,
we didn't have to tell them about
castling or
that
not
part. Okay.
castling. She's still winning games. She's learning. She's doing everything to set herself up for the maximum success in her future endeavors, which is coming up soon, actually, in January. She's already registered for her second tournament. Huge news. And she might even stream it live. Can you believe it?
Maybe. I have to figure out technologically how to do that. It seems very intimidating to me,
Absolutely not.
but I'll
You
figure it out, guys.
you've got the whole support of the chess world behind you. I'm sure someone will be able to help you out. We'll make it happen.
Yes. Well, we'll see. I will ask if I can do
Yeah.
that.
So I really like that you open up your rook. That's really cool. And I really like that you took the bishop with your knight. And I like that you took the rook with your rook because you're forcing the pawn to a bad square,
Hmm.
right? Kind of similar
Now my
how they
queen
took.
is looking.
So now I want to win this pawn, but I also want to acknowledge that you have a couple pieces that are loose, that are hanging, right? That are undefended.
Hmm.
You also still have this free pawn. So there's a lot going on right now.
This is like, I mean, it might as well be undefended since it's only being defended by my rook and queen.
I
But,
don't know about that, but
well, like, but these pieces shouldn't be busy defending a pawn, you know?
okay.
I don't know.
What I was getting at before we left this position last is that it all comes back to this trade here on f5. When you allowed the bishop to take and you took back, now this pawn is not defended. It's hanging, right? Your bishop is also hanging. So this allows for you to be tactically vulnerable to tactics, right? So I mean, maybe I said that too much, but essentially what happens is knight f3 is a fork of the bishop and the pawn. You might think like, oh, it's just a pawn, it's not a big deal. But like we want to be kind of precise and we don't want to necessarily give up. Like taking and not taking here is actually kind of a big deal because if you win a pawn, like it's better to win a pawn than to not win a pawn. And it's better to like not lose a pawn than to lose a pawn. So all the pawns kind of add up. And it's just these are little things that are going to add up. And when you play a move like f4, like explain to me like what f4 is helping you with?
It prevents this because I wanted to go here, and then I'm threatening, like, incoming. Uh, okay. That's not what you don't like that.
If
Um,
white played g3 right now, well, okay, you're saying f4 prevents g3. G3 is not a good move. G3, this is the same exact logic and mindset that you had when you played the move b4 in the last game, and it's the same exact logic that you had when you played f3, right? Those are not good pawn pushes. You're saying g3 prevents bishop h4. That's what you're saying, right?
yeah.
So you're playing f4 to prevent g3. Why not play h? You're thinking already, your mind is like, okay, I'm going to play h, bishop h4. I'm going to be threatening this, right? And you're saying that g3 is a sufficient defense here, right?
Pawn's pinned. I didn't even see that. Yeah.
Yeah, if they
Okay.
play g3 now, what should you do?
You just take it.
You can take it
I did
because,
not see that. Yeah.
well, this is an important tactic.
Yeah, I know. Just
But
I
regardless,
don't like to see these
even if we did this and they did that and we just bring our bishop back, like this is actually advantageous for us.
At this
Because
point, this pawn is it's isolated anyway. Like it's just a lone survivor. So,
you
why
can't
not
put
just
your
send it
you can't this
into the trenches?
your f4 pawn push does not help you
It doesn't.
because because after the knight gets to f3, your bishop's never getting to h4 anyways, right?
Mhm.
So you kind of overlooked knight f3 like kind of a lot, but I just wanted to really emphasize the f4 pawn push does not help you. Like this is kind of a waste of a move.
And I did realize that the pawn was pinned during the game, to be clear. I just I don't know. I still didn't want them to do
I
this.
I don't think you should be worried about them playing g3 because these pawn pushes near the king are not good, right? So like you would be happy if white played g3. So you're preventing something that's bad for them. They're not gonna play g3. They're gonna want to develop their pieces, right? So like you should probably want to develop your rook,
Hmm.
I would say.
I think that's coming soon. More likely.
Also, so yeah, you have to recognize that knight f3 attacks you and it attacks the pawn. Like it's a double attack. Like it's a
Mhm.
tactic. So you have to be more like cognizant of these sort of moves where they're attacking your pieces because once you're under attack and you're reacting, then you're susceptible to tactics. So if someone attacks you and you didn't realize that that was possible, then you're thinking on the fly, which is dangerous because you might get into a position where you actually don't have a defense, right? So you have to see their potential attacks against you before it happens. Like queen here is a potential attack, but it doesn't
Mhm.
work because you could take the knight. So
Mhm.
like this relationship here is significant because it ties the queen down. So you know the queen can't just go wherever it pleases.
Mhm.
So the pieces have relationships, right? Like there's something going on between these two, and that means there's something going on here. So that's like an important detail. And then you also have to see that the queen and the pawn are lined up, and that the knight moves with the discovery. You also have to see that your bishop's hanging. So like knight here, they get out of this attack, they're attacking here, and they're discovering here. And it's like this might seem like a lot right now, or especially like live during the game. You're thinking like here, 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 like all this stuff, and you're just kind of overlooking knight f3. You have to kind of be aware of like what they're gonna do. So like the way that you come up with f4 is just unfortunately you're playing with a pawn when you should be playing with your pieces. I'm thinking like we should create threats. Like I noticed this pawn is really weak. I'm also noticing like these pawns are like also hanging, but
Still there.
this pawn is also weak, right? We haven't moved our rook yet. I was thinking maybe bishop f4 is a strong idea.
Mhm.
Um, I'm thinking like I would love to attack the knight a second time. If I could get my queen here, that'd be like really awesome. So this is where I'm thinking, okay, what if I play something like d4? And if they take, I take, and like that's hanging, and this is hanging. If we take, their queen takes, now we can take the rook. Like this is great. But now when I propose an idea in my mind where it's like, okay, this is a strong attack, what is their defense, right? Because I know if they take, they're in a world of hurt. This is great for me. But I also know that they don't have to take. They could do something else. So they could, for example, make a counter threat like knight f3 here. Once you notice knight f3, you're like, oh shoot, that's actually a really good move because it's a discovery. They're threatening this, they're threatening that. Like everything really kind of just comes together really well. That's another thing about these knight moves. Knights love to be on these like four squares, right? That's just the most natural place for a knight to go. So when a knight goes here, this is already a little awkward, but it's connected to this square too. So the knight could still come from, like usually it's the knight that's here that comes here, but the other knight can come there as well. But that's why also like this move c3 is kind of weird, just because it takes that square away from the knight. So once they go here, then this is the next logical like follow-up, the continuation. It's in fact very important that you take the bishop now, because you force the pawn to take. But if you've given them one more move, guess what their move would be if you played something like this? Yeah, they would bring the knight to f3.
Right.
I didn't hear what you were like muted again, so but I just assumed that you.
I said I said bishop to f3, but I meant knight to f3.
Yeah. We didn't even have to hear what you said, but we all knew this is what you meant. So, and the problem with this is that now if we take, they don't have to take with a pawn, right?
Yeah.
Even if we trade rooks, they can take with a knight. This is really, I mean, this isn't necessarily the best knight because it's not an outpost per se, because we can always kick the knight away or something like this or this or whatever. The knight's susceptible, but the point is their pawn structure is kind of intact still. So when the knight comes here, you should already be expecting it to come to f3. And, you know, if that's on your radar, then in this position, you will kind of know that f4 is not going to be good, because then your bishop's going to be under threat and your pawn's also going to be hanging. Where else could this knight go from here?
I mean, nowhere good.
That's not true.
Oh, b3.
Yeah, but where else?
I mean, if it goes to c4, I take it. If it goes to e4, I take it. And then the only other logical place is b3, right? Or the place it goes.
Nowhere else?
No. Yes. No. Yes. Am I missing a square for the knight?
I mean, technically, yeah.
Oh, well, it can retreat.
Yeah,
Like,
but
it's like a
knight f1 is a common maneuver in a lot of openings, actually.
here, and then attacking pawns.
And as you pointed out, the knight controls this h2 square, which can be really significant. But yeah, typically the knight likes, this is a common maneuver, I would say, in some Roy Lopez lines. Like, because you play c3 a lot of times. So anytime the pawn comes to c3, the knight has a whole different kind of path ahead of it, right? And it's typically, you go to d2. A lot of times there's already a knight on f3. So if the knight can't go to f3 and we have a pawn on d5, then the knight's going to go f1 to g3. This is really common maneuver.
I mean, it makes sense. I just wouldn't have thought of that. Also, well, then I still have this threat.
Yeah, so they would not want to go to f1 here because they have f3 available.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's really helpful to know that these are like typical maneuvers, because Now, when you see the knight on d2 or like a pawn on c3 even, you can already start to expect the knight's gonna start going different places, right? Because if you're witnessing this for the first time, then knight f3 might catch you off guard, and this is where you're gonna lose material, right? So what I don't want you to do is to lose material in the future from something that you've seen before, right? So now you've seen this. So you should just kind of be aware, be prepared for this sort of thing. Because you played f4 here, and I'm just really trying to drive home the point that like this move is not helping you. It's just kind of this I would say is kind of a waste of a move, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're taking away this line from the bishop. Not that the bishop really could stay here that much longer, anyways. Uh, yeah, I don't like that you captured here because like you allowed this trade, and now this pawn is weak, and that's also kind of what allows you to lose this material. So, but you bring the rook in. This actually loses you material too, unfortunately. Do you see what this drops? That's my hint to you.
Hmm.
This move that you just made.
Wait, what did I make? What did I do? Oh. No, I don't see. Like he can't take here. He can take here, but then take, oh,
Yeah.
queen. But then, I don't know. I don't see it. What am I missing? Oh, oh, I mean, he could come here, yeah. Is that, no? I don't
That
know.
why would he go there?
Give me a hint.
I kind of already. Why is their rook d1 move bad?
Why is their Brook D1 move bad?
If they did it right now, right here.
Oh, because I don't know. I don't know. Why is it bad?
Well, what's your move doing?
It's attacking the queen.
Yeah. So if they move their rook,
Then it's, oh, well then they lose their queen.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But I'm still stuck on like why this is a bad move for me.
Well, I don't want to necessarily say it's a bad move, but it's dropping something.
Being something.
What was your rook doing? This is an even better.
Oh, but then I take and it's still defending the rook.
Okay, can you make that move on the board for me, please?
Yeah.
Wait, what just happened?
Very bad.
Did you understand what this uh okay, well, I
Yeah.
mean, could they take that a different way?
Take this pawn
Mm-hmm.
with the queen. And
Yeah.
then, oh, and then I have to take because it's pinned to the rook.
You you don't have to take. And it's not pinned
Oh,
to
I
the
mean,
rook.
I guess I can, I don't know how else to defend it. I guess
It's already
without,
defended.
oh, I didn't see that.
But that's a very important detail. Your queen can't just go anywhere. Maybe. No, it can't.
So he goes here. I would, I guess, go here, attacking this pawn.
You gotta maybe make the moves because I don't think you're visualizing it too well,
Nah.
unfortunately.
Okay, queen takes. I come down here.
What's wrong with queen c7
Oh
here?
my gosh.
Oh, now you see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
let me share what happens if we go like right here. What's the problem? This is a
for me,
blunder. Yeah, this is a big problem for you.
um,
Not that.
big problem for me. Oh gosh. Uh, don't know. Okay,
Yeah? Let's see.
uh,
We're training your tactics here.
tactics need some work,
That's what we're
clearly.
doing. We're working on them. I'm telling you there's a tactic.
For me, or no, for them.
Yes.
Okay.
Remember what I was saying about the relationship between the pieces?
Yes. So I see this.
Remember you said that the queen had to take because it was pinned to the rook, but I said that the rook was defended.
Hmm. Oh, takes, and then he wins the rook.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So queen to c6 is a blunder because they take your bishop, which is defending your rook, which is under attack by their queen. But it actually gets a little trickier than that because after this move, maybe we can somehow salvage this. And that's what Santos is saying, it doesn't work. But what can we do here to maybe salvage this situation?
Oh, queen can't. If only the queen could go to e7.
That wouldn't help us though.
What? It protects. It
If
protects.
our queen could teleport to e7, they would just move their knight back and they're up a piece.
But if I take, then I lose the rook with
Yeah.
check.
Yeah. So how do we salvage this?
Oh, I was thinking maybe like checking with the rook,
Not
but it
quite.
has to be some sort of threatening. Oh, queen threat.
Does that work?
I
Can
mean,
what would they
let me
do?
try and visualize this.
Okay.
If I go here,
Uh-huh.
let's say queen takes. I don't know. Well, queen doesn't have to take. Queen's not going to take. Queen's going to go somewhere else. So,
Uh-huh.
um, where's the queen going to go? Queen, eight.
Where's the best place that they could go?
Oh, well, now they can come down here. Check. Yeah.
Exactly. So does that work?
Ooh, no, it does not. That looks
No.
pretty bad for
Yeah,
me,
it
doesn't
does. It does look
it?
pretty bad for you. That's actually checkmate.
Yeah, I did see that, Joe. Thanks for the
Nice.
confidence.
All right. So there's something else here for us.
Something with the rook that threatens, that makes a threat. I mean, we could just come down here. Oh,
They have the same checkmate if you do that.
oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Um,
that could help you maybe a little bit.
okay. Well, the rook has to go somewhere it can defend the mate while also protecting itself.
No, but
Oh,
that's not gonna. No, that's not gonna help us because they're anything we do.
I have
Remember,
to make a bigger threat.
yeah, they're if we don't make a bigger threat, they're gonna just save their knight, right?
But the only thing, oh, it's this, and it blocks. The little
Oh,
pawns, they are cheeky.
wow, those pawns are important, huh?
Yes.
So,
Wow.
okay.
I'm embarrassed it took me that long to see that.
No, it's okay. I didn't see it either because I was saying basically you got like so much going on here. You go drop a pawn, rook here attacks the queen. I'm saying this kind of drops this pawn. First and foremost, like we're not really worried about this capture because we could just trade and like this pawn is so weak because it's doubled and isolated. But at the same time, if we go after this, like they can create some counter threats and stuff. So who knows? Anywho, probably not necessarily winning a pawn for white. Even taking with the pawn is actually interesting because takes maybe takes, but we get an active rook and it's gonna be fine because we're gonna try to hunt down this material. Like we can go rook
Mhm.
here next, and there's really no good way for them to save this, so that's probably fine. But still, this leads me to see that I should probably just take here first and then play rook here or something. Or take here twice first, maybe. But okay, anyways, rook here. Now, if we try this queen takes idea, this is just like kind of a thought process that you have to have, right? If you're like, okay, I am deciding between trading queens or not. If I trade queens, I can mess up their pawns and try to go for the pawns. But I have to remember, like, maybe they have some counterplay or something and go after my pawns. And if I don't trade queens, where can I go?
Oh wait, no. Never mind. Sorry, what was the question?
If I don't, I mean, you could look at trading queens, it's important, but you could also, when you're analyzing not trading queens, these are really important details that you can't overlook, right? You have to first see that the queen is attacking the rook, right? So if I go somewhere where I'm not protecting the rook, which, like, first and foremost, I can't actually go anywhere that would protect the rook because all these squares are covered by the pawns. So, like, I can't go here, I can't go here, I can't go here. And you also were looking at queen here, which now you see doesn't work because they would just take us. So
yeah.
I have to ask myself, like, can I go somewhere like here or here? Because, like, I can't stay on this diagonal. I can't go back. I can't, I mean, if I'm trying to avoid the queen trade, then I can't really go here or here because their queen could just take us. So really, if I can't go here and here, I can't go this diagonal. That leaves me with 3 options, right? And so it's really important to see that if I go to one of these two, they're going to take the bishop. And I have to find this b6 move. Otherwise, I'm losing. If I can't find b6, then the game's over here. Because I'm just lost a bishop and I can't take it back because then my rook hangs. So it's really important that if I go to c6, I have this b6 tactic available at my disposal. So I'm able to do this because it disconnects the queen from the rook. It attacks the queen. They have to react. And only then can I take back the knight. So I haven't lost a piece. Now, if I go to, instead of c6, if I go to e6, do I still have this b6 tactic? Does this still work?
No, because yeah, I mean, no, because they're gonna take my queen and threaten my.
Yeah, they'll take, I'll take, and now they get this at the end. They're up 2 pieces to nothing, so that's great for them. Yeah. So I can rule out e6. So now if I go to c6, I better have b6, but the easiest is I could just go to g6, right? Because now after knight takes, I technically still have b6 as an option, but it's maybe a little too crazy. I could simply just take back the knight and I'm defending the rook. So this is just kind of like a thought process to have when you're calculating. You go all the way back to this move, rook d8, and these are things that you have to be aware of. First off, your rook has an important job. It's helping you defend this pawn, which is now attacked twice, which you might have missed.
Stems from the problem of me not taking the pawn to begin with.
Yeah, it starts with not taking here. But this is like when I'm in a game and I'm thinking, ooh, I could play rook d8. I really like this move because the rook's defended by both the queen and the bishop. It attacks the queen, and I'm putting the rook from the corner to an open d file. These are all amazing ideas that really encourage me to make this move. Before I do it, I have to blunder check, right? What can their queen do from here? Well, it's attacking this pawn. Okay, that's defended. It's attacking this pawn. Okay, that's defended. They can go here, here, here. They can go here, offer a queen trade. Oh, they could take this pawn because I'm also not defending. What is the rook doing from where it was here? It's defending this pawn.
Yeah.
So when I do that, I'm like, okay, well, maybe the activity of the rook on the d file is worth it to give up this pawn because really giving up this pawn is actually not that big of a deal because this pawn's actually pretty bad. So I'm just gonna go after it again.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is where it gets tricky. Okay, they can go here, so I win this pawn, but I lose this pawn. Oh, but then I win
Mm-hmm.
this pawn. But then okay, maybe they check me or something. Like I don't know. Like is this trade good enough for me? I'm
Mm-hmm.
technically down material here, so maybe trading queens isn't that great. Shout out to Jesse, another one of my students who
Oh, Jesse.
we're gonna be giving lessons to next week.
Oh,
So Jesse has been traveling the world, living it up at large in New York and other
oh,
such places.
dang. Okay.
So
Very nice.
uh,
I think Gary is arranging a lower rated tournament between, and Jesse and I will likely be participants.
wow, that's
Be the battle
huge.
of your students against.
Well, shout out to Gary for organizing such a thing.
Yeah, poor Gary actually, because like he's trying to coordinate all these different time zones and availabilities, and it's yeah.
Yeah, being a chess organizer is tough. So shout out to all the organizers out there for making tournaments that people can play in and watch. Um,
Definitely.
yeah, I hope your stream went well, Jesse. Thanks for tuning in. We're giving a lesson. This is the last game of Emily's first ever over the board tournament. Shout out to Emily if you guys want to go check her out. And for anyone that doesn't know Jessie, shout out to Jessie because we'll be giving lessons to her next week and hopefully Jessie can start. I saw she was playing over the board in New York, so I don't know if that was a tournament she signed up for or what, but we're gonna find out and maybe review some of her games. That'd be cool.
I'll have to take some notes about her games since we're gonna be
Are you guys
competing.
playing against each other?
I don't know, but I'm assuming it's not very. I don't know. There's not very many people playing, so I'm assuming it's
Oh,
like we're all gonna play each other. I don't know. I could be wrong. Either way, it's all in good fun. And as we know, I'm just like when I'm playing real people that I know of, at least I don't really care as much if I win. But when I'm playing strangers online, I do.
I think you should just try either way. But it turns out you like to you kind of have a soft spot if you know that your opponent has like a family and is gonna win money. You're like, all right, they can win. But you didn't even
Yeah,
know.
I think like it's about here in the game. Well, I don't know. It starts all going downhill. I really
Yeah,
was getting impatient at this point. So,
yeah.
my name is Joey Welcome. Thank you for following.
Thank you,
Um,
Joey, for following Emily. Shout out to Joey. Joey tunes in. We love our fellow Joes, right? We
we
gotta
do.
stick together. Anywho, so yeah, when you play a move like this, like all of this is really just kind of coming to mind. I have to see this sort of stuff, right? Like otherwise, I could just be, losing material. So it's like you gotta really kind of be on top of all these details, and that's why I'm not even gonna allow this capture on a5. I'm just gonna just take straight away on b4 while I can, and then bring the rook in. Here's another thing. You could go for this, and they don't have to take with the queen. They could take like this. We looked at this a little bit, but that's just you don't want to give your opponent options. You want to just take here first because now they don't have the option to take this pawn anymore. They're gonna have to take it back. And I mean, winning the pawn is great, but this is another opportunity maybe you could play here. But now maybe they can save their pawn. So that's kind of annoying. Like they can go here, here. We lose our opportunity to capture. So captures have to be kind of timely because if you don't, then they can do something. They can react. They can create a stronger threat. They can defend the capture. That's why captures is the second highest priority when we're looking for moves, right? What's the first? Checks. Because checks are most forcing. Captures are second most forcing. Because if you capture something and they don't capture back, you're up material. Like it's that
Mm-hmm.
simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, you got to be very timely with your moves. You have to be kind of opportunistic as well. Um,
Yeah, I have a hard time with that. There's been a few times,
yeah.
like it happens all the time to me where I'm thinking about a move and I'm like, it's a good option. I don't play it and then the opportunity goes away.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Especially in the opening though. I think that is what gets me in trouble though, because I'm like, for instance, oh, the B pawn's hanging. I could attack that, and then now it's like coming at the cost of
well,
development. That's not a great example because it is kind of
I mean, I
developing.
can I can see I can see the thought process there, and that a lot of times, especially in openings, there's gambits, right? A gambit is actually giving up material, giving up a pawn most of the time for a lead in development. So that is reasonable where you would maybe be concerned about winning a pawn because you might think like, okay, I might be losing moves where I should be developing instead. This was not one of those cases because the capture actually helped your development, right? Because the bishop could like take back.
Hmm.
But that's good to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. So you have to be able to distinguish like, is this a free pawn or is this a gambit, right? In this position, like if we go all the way back, when you're able to take like four different ways, it's
Yeah.
not really a gambit because you have so many. If the only way is to like take with like if they had left the pawn here, right? Let's say they play here. This is a pawn that okay, your bishop actually does a really good job of making this a free pawn. But typically what happens is the rook comes here and they're gonna like take here. Even if you've won a pawn in this exchange, the rook is really active. So now if you try to castle, well the rook's really messing you up. Even if you trap even if you trap the knight later on, like let's say they castle and we play here. Okay, we can still castle because the knight defends, but maybe they go like bishop here. And
Calculated
now
all these lines, Joe. Just so you know.
what?
I'm kidding.
You
I said I
can't
calculated. I
you
calculated all of these
I
lines.
thought you were gonna say that you like analyze them or something. I'm like, that's cool. Yeah, like I'm just trying to illustrate that a pawn on b2 we might let go. We might not want to take because they can get some counter. It doesn't work in this position because our bishop covers this, so that would be
Mm.
just free material for us. But
Yeah.
a lot of times this is a common kind of poison pawn, as they say,
Mm.
where they're gonna get more in return for that pawn, right? But when they play here and we play here and they castle, we can take this like so many different ways that the odds of it being a gambit or a sacrifice or a poison pawn are just it's so much
Still, that
diminished.
like if he like I should yeah, and
I
him
think
pushing
I
that
don't
to
know.
B2 or B5, sorry, that would have been annoying also. Like I would have had to retreat my knight once.
Yeah, and you just kind of let that linger.
Yeah.
Shout out to the cranberries, but anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
That's good to know about the poison pawn, the poison bee pawn, because I make that threat often.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of times you said that queen b6 was a waste of a move. Like you can play queen b6 and threaten the pawn and not take the pawn. Like this is still a good move.
It just gives him something to think about.
That's also true.
Keep
That's
it there.
probably like I mean it's true. It's definitely not the main reason why you would make this move. uh but okay. Let's get
I
back
think the
to
open rook. I just yeah, that it just like was that was a good move. I don't know why I would didn't do that.
yeah,
Anyways,
Rook D8 is a great move. This is just a really good move in general. I really like it. I think the smallest of details is you should just take first and then
yeah.
go for that. So it's
Mhm.
like whatever. This is good in principle. It's bad here perhaps in practice because you have a little guy that you should just take here first, right? So take take care of that, and then centralize the rook. They go here. Now your opportunity is passed.
Wait, this is the part
This is
where
where
I was
things kind of go downhill
calculating a sacrifice. Because
here.
this is where I was like, I just need this game to be over. I don't care what happens.
Okay,
But I
that
didn't end up playing it.
that's probably not the best. Your mind is lost on charcuterie boards and wine. Uh, at this, so we
Yes.
found the precise moment. King f8.
Oh wait, that's what I did.
Yeah, this was your move.
Okay, so well, I could have played it here, but maybe it was the. I
You
mean,
wanted the bishop
must,
h4 idea to play rook d2.
yes.
That's so defendable though.
Oh, that's why I didn't play it.
Yeah.
But really, so he takes, and then here, and then
Calculate it. Show me.
so. But here, okay, he could have also done this, and then yeah, that wouldn't work.
No.
So let's say he takes,
Why can't he
then
do g3 again?
because then it's just free because this is still pinned.
Well, it's free multiple ways.
True.
How would you take? I don't know if it necessarily matters actually, but
I don't know. I guess actually this fixes my pawn structure. Well, but it doesn't matter. They're gonna take anyway. So
what are they gonna take anyway?
oh, they can't.
Show me what's going on. 'Cause I don't.
No.
Why not?
Wait.
It's important. This is good exercise. I'm getting every ounce of a lesson out of this game. Out
No,
of every single move.
I appreciate it. I'm learning so much. Okay. I don't know. I feel like if I take with the pawn, then this bishop's like really horrible. But then I can come here and then. Oh wait. All right. We're just gonna play it through. So let's. I mean, then this is like pretty bad for my opponent, but. I don't know why I was looking. I don't know what they would do. I guess you said that'd be easy to defend. I guess they just come here, offer a rook trade, and then I have to take with the queen, and then the threat's no longer there. They probably have something better though. I need to stop clicking on the pieces. That's how I lost one of my games today. I misclicked it, and I hung a rook. That was the end.
No.
But I was winning. I was in a completely winning position. I was so mad. And it was a long game too. It was like almost 30 minutes and I was gonna win, but I digress. So let's not touch the pieces because that's also a rule in the tournaments as it turns out.
Yeah, it's good practice.
Yeah. So
that's funny. Thanks,
well,
Ranger. Sorry,
what?
Go ahead.
So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what white would do here.
Well, what's to figure out their response, we have to figure out what we're threatening, right?
I mean, I guess they just move queen e2 or
there's a lot of things that could be done.
okay. I thought that it might work, but it was a lot of calculating that I...
Well, the thing that you were thinking of is different than what we're looking at now. The thing you were thinking of was takes in here.
Yeah.
Now, I got to give you some credit. This is very creative. I like this idea a lot because you're looking for checkmate, right?
Yeah.
Which is funny because the knight capture, if they did something like this or this or this, something that doesn't defend, do we have checkmate?
No.
Can we take this pawn?
No.
Why not?
Oh, yeah. Well, what I would do instead is push this F pawn that I so delicately prepared earlier in the game.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna take the knight.
Oh, or I could just take the knight.
Pushing is so aggressive though. I actually like that a lot. But maybe they go here. Because now takes and takes. and we're down a piece.
It was a
But
nice idea, wasn't it?
it was a nice idea. It was I prefer that you have crazy ideas that you play out because it's gonna help you out in the long run. It's gonna help you find things that your opponent's just not gonna see or that they're gonna have missed. Like this is the creativity that very talented players use to find these insane tactics, right? Where you're like, wow, bishop just absolutely hanging for free. Like, what on earth could that have been inspired by? It's well, you're trying to go for this mating net. It's really cool. It doesn't work, and
It'd be cool if it worked.
you
Also,
knew it.
Hikaru.
Yeah, it's good that you looked at it and you figured it out, right? So you didn't play it, but you thought about it, which I think is the credit that I'm trying to give you, is that you're really thinking outside the box, which is really cool. That's creative, right? So props to you for that. And props to you for not doing it because you figured out that it didn't work. But we looked
What's
at
is that his next move is here, which I think was just defending that. I think he saw like that was maybe going to cause some problems
okay,
for him.
true.
Because why else would he go there, you know?
Good point.
Except I guess to help this pawn, but not really.
So I want to look at we were looking at this and I was saying what's a better capture? And I think on the surface level it doesn't really matter because either way this pawn is pinned and you're creating a huge threat on this f pawn, right? So either way the capture is good. Now, if you wanted to get into the nitty-gritty, like really specific detailed answer,
Then you
I
lose a bishop.
how which way?
The knight takes it.
Show me.
Oh. Oh. Well, I'm saying if I took with a pawn.
Okay, is that
Hold on. I don't know. But I could have just done this and bishop.
Oh, you're so close. You were so
What?
close. Go back. There was something really cool there.
Here?
Show me where you lost your bishop.
Oh.
So yeah, move the bishop,
Oh, well, I do lose it later.
push the
But not
pawn.
because the
No,
bishop's here.
not I didn't know that, but push the
Well,
G
now you do.
pawn.
Okay, so
You're
yeah.
telling me if you take with the pawn here, uh they will take your bishop, right?
Yeah.
I'm asking you, is that like who is that good for? Is that good for you or is that good for them?
Good for me.
Why?
Well, because then I mean, I can force them into checkmate.
Show me. I
Oh, I
want
can't.
I want to
So
see it.
it's not good for me. I'm
No,
confused.
you can show like play it out.
Um, what are they gonna do? Well, what's the threat? I mean, I don't have like a oh here, but then um, what are they gonna do though? I don't know, cause like they have to see. Like I don't really see. I mean, I would like to bring this down personally. Um, your face is just full of disappointment.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, you like literally pointed out what's stopping you right now? Like what's holding up the process here? Like what? Look at this position and tell me like what's going on. What's happening like right now? At this very precise moment on the board. No trick questions. Just
oh,
what's going on?
they can. Never mind. King or queen. I don't know. I don't
What do you
know.
mean you don't know?
Okay, I have to like think. Okay, let me just uh, look at it. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I'm making this a little more. Let's just calm down a little bit. Let's deep breath. Deeper in
Um.
and out. And now it's just like
Oh, they can.
I want to
Just.
just like ask something that's like way too
Oh, they're in
obvious.
check. They're in check.
Oh wow, that's a huge detail. Okay, okay, this is good. We're making progress.
Gosh. Okay. I think I just got distracted and like was
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
Well, if I brought this down though, because okay, they're gonna go here, obviously.
Okay, and then
Here.
voila. So
So it
can
did work.
can they even take your bishop?
Oh. So
Is
it was a great move. I should have just played it.
well, listen.
In case they push this pawn
Listen.
though.
Yeah,
Because this
bishop to h4, bad move. Not this doesn't work. G3, horrible move because yes, we can take with a pawn. We can take with the bishop too, but I actually don't think it's as good because well, they're not going to move their knight. So queen check is actually not threatening mate. Well, it technically is. If they did something stupid, then yes, we would still have mate, but it's not because of queen to h2. Can we play queen h2 right now?
you
Is that mate?
no, because the bishop. I mean because of the knight.
Yeah, their knight defends it. So what do we have instead?
Well, some sort of if you could get the rook on the back rank or like don't see a way of doing that right now.
What are we looking for?
We're looking for chat. Oh, take the knight.
Yes. Is that mate?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh no, you can go here. But then
But then
you just go here.
show me the full.
You go here, here. And then then you have yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Great. So if we really are digesting this whole thing, here's what I kind of looked at. When I said it doesn't really matter because both ways this pawn's pinned and you're attacking this is pretty much winning either way. I would say that pawn takes is actually a little bit better. Also, I wanted to point out to you that our bishop's not only hanging by the knight, is it?
Queen, yeah, I saw that.
Your queen could take because this pawn was technically pinned in a sense. And this is a whole different line we have to look at because captures
Now
the
this
knight.
is
Yeah, we still don't have this mate, but we still have this, right? And now we have the mate. So they still have the same mate. Shout out to Rayman for the raid. Hope your stream was well. Thanks for the follow. We're giving a lesson to Emily, so be sure to follow her. I would actually encourage that you follow Emily first before you follow me because she has a dog named Dale. And I also
but
recommend
no, follow Joe. Joe is you'll get a lot more value out of watching him than watching me.
No, because I only stream lessons anyways, so you should follow Emily. You should also follow Jessie because I'm going to be a lesson to her next week. But my point is, I like taking with the pawn because we are tempting them to take the bishop, right? So we're kind of baiting them a little bit. But I think more concretely, when we take with the bishop, they can make a move like queen c5 or a move like rook here or knight here because they're cutting the queen off. They're unpinning the pawn, right? And also just to note, if the threat is this pawn, like you mentioned, they could bring the queen back. They can also bring the rook here. There's a lot of like reasons why we're not actually mating them because they don't have to take or like they can just defend, right? But
then oh, never mind.
you're cooking. You're starting to cook.
Doesn't work.
Actually, that is a I like the little light bulbs. You could play a move like rook here, right? Is that
That's what I was thinking, but I
But what?
think
This is a pretty baller move because let's say they do something dumb. Now what can we do?
Well, you take the rook and then queen f2.
Show that to me.
Queen can capture now.
Oh, okay. So
Oh,
rook.
but then queen comes in, can't take because it's pinned.
Oh, here we go. Okay, and then what happens?
And then I still don't think it works because then you have this as a defender.
What do you mean?
Like after these exchanges, like
Just play the moves out.
well, it's white to oh yeah, white has to move. Oh yeah, duh. The king. Keep forgetting that he's in check. Oh my gosh. Okay.
What would you do here?
Here, yeah, and then
That's pretty good, but it's not good enough. What would they do here? Yeah, show the queen takes, yeah. Like, okay, I understand this is winning, but I want to be I want to exhaust our ideas here. What would they do? Does this mate?
block with it,
Yeah. And then
and
do
then
we
you. Oh no, we don't do that. We don't.
what's the fastest mate here? Actually, I don't think it matters, actually.
Push the pawn.
Push the pawn is fun. There's maybe some closer, faster ones, but regardless, we still have a couple moves left before the job is done. I want to look at a faster option here. Then taking the rook wins the queen, and that's probably good enough, but it's not good enough. So I want to see if you have a faster checkmate. A better idea. Ooh, taking the knight. I like that. That's fun. And now what do they do? And then what do we do?
Doesn't work, does it?
What doesn't work?
If I take this, they take, and then I.
Okay.
Like
Well, wait,
so,
no. Stay there. Yes. No. Taking the knight is better
okay.
for sure. Yeah. And now,
Oh, now we just come over.
show me. Make the most.
But it's not like forcing. That's okay. Well, then they have like they can start. Like if I. Oh well, now I take this. Wait, but the king I thought was here. Cause he has to move. Duh. Oh yeah. Oh wait. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Ah. I just keep forgetting. Like I get on these little lines and I
Yeah.
Which actually I think that's why I lose a lot of games.
Because you're calculating in like the wrong moves. Like the pieces are on the wrong squares when you're making your calculations in your mind.
Yeah, true. Okay, so now.
I mean, that's a good move. But
Yeah. No, that's like well then he goes here and
but
I don't
still, no, that's I mean that's worth. That line is mate in 3, but you have something faster. You have mate in 2 here.
Oh. No. Oh no, then I lose it. No. I don't see it. Oh. Is it just this? Isn't that what we did the last time though?
Well, what's the difference?
I can't remember what I did last time. Oh, we don't take.
You can, okay. Here's move 1.
Yeah.
And move 2, yeah.
Oh, that's what you were going for. For some reason I thought that was I don't know. I couldn't remember what we did last time.
Well, you can go back and you'll realize why we couldn't do that earlier. Why can't we just mate in 1 here?
Because the knight.
So we take the knight first.
Yeah, I see.
Well, not this.
I see. It changes the position, yes.
So here, this is all just a thought process to help you calculate tactics, right? We
Well, yeah.
take they defend. We have this really cool idea. The idea is, okay, they can't take our bishop because it's pinned, and they gotta defend this. So they brought the rook here, and now we move the rook here. They can't take that because the rook is important defending this. And I was like, okay, let's put a dummy move. Like our threat is to take the pawn with the queen because the rook is pinned. So they're not really defending this. And then here, we can't mate in one because the knight's there. So we take the knight. They can't take the queen because they're still pinned. So they come back, and now we have this mate because the knight's no longer there. So now, of course, just taking the rook is winning, but you know, maybe they have some pawn that promotes a check or something. I don't know. We would rather win faster than to not. Also, it's good to see all these tactics, right? Because it helps you just be better in calculation. So you're being more precise. I would rather win everything than to not. But all this to say, I think I would still prefer to take the pawn, because if they do something like knight here or queen here or rook here, we can just take with the pawn now because both the bishop and the queen support it. So I think this is slightly stronger because they can't really take back because now we have the same kind of threats and whatnot. But yeah, we take the bishop and they defend. Sure, we get this cool move out of it, but they can just like go here or something. And yeah, like eventually maybe they're gonna be able to take the bishop because our bishop's not hanging right now, but maybe it will be. Like let's say also, what if they just go here, for example? Okay, takes maybe, but like our bishop's hanging, right? The pawn's no longer pinned, and they're defending the pawn sufficiently. And if we move the bishop back, well, actually, now they take it. So that's another reason why I don't like bishop takes, is because our bishop can get trapped here. So that's another reason why I think pawn takes is better. Okay, that was a bit much detail. All
No,
for a
it was
hypothetical.
very helpful because I was really, like I said, thinking about making that move. And then also like yeah, but I knew it didn't work because like yeah,
because they could just take.
well yeah. But then yeah, rook comes down. I don't know. But
So
yeah, I know they can defend it, so it's just like I
so
lost in a game.
how did you find king f8? What was the reason
I
besides the charcuterie board temptations? I mean, that's a valid reason, don't get me wrong.
I don't know why I did king f8. I obviously saw some sort of threat. Oh, I think I wanted to prevent like I don't know. No,
Good night,
no, I
Joey.
did that.
I think maybe you were concerned that your king and their queen were lined up on the same diagonal and you couldn't push your f pawn. And so maybe you were considering pushing your f pawn at some point, or maybe you were considering putting the king to the h file and you didn't like that it dropped the f pawn. These are all my speculations from seeing this move in game for the first time, but you were actually there and you actually made the move, so maybe you have more of an insight. It's okay if you don't, because I know it's been like a week.
I think yeah, I don't know what it would have been. I was maybe thinking like oh, I was afraid if takes then queen.
Well, you could take back though.
What? If he takes oh yeah. I don't know. I was just trying to speculate.
It's okay. Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe.
Oh, maybe because I wanted to defend the square somehow. I don't know.
It's okay.
Never know.
Here's the consequences when you play a move like King F8. There's pros and cons. Pretty much every move has pros and cons. The pro is that you're not pinned anymore, so you can push the F pawn. There's a lot of cons though. Con being that you moved your king instead of any other piece. So that's one thing. Second thing is you're a little bit more exposed here in the center of the board. So like their king, notice that you're pinning their pawn and you're opposite their king, and they're doing the same to you. But we like the kings here behind the pawns, right? The king is pretty good here. So it's better to kind of stand this pawn or pin or whatever.
That's why I did that, is because I saw. Never mind. It would have broke the pin, so I could have just taken. I was just afraid of this pawn, I think, getting down.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
No,
it was
you don't.
not
It's not something to be sorry about. It's okay. Remember, there's no disappointment here. No, no mistake too egregious. This is all a learning opportunity. So, King
Sure.
F8 is just not kind of. We don't want to bring the king to the center when there's still queens on the board. So when you go to F8, now you're susceptible to checks.
Mm-hmm.
And they can already actually force a queen trade here if they wanted to. I'm not saying it's good. It's probably actually bad because their pawns are going to be really bad. So if they did this, we can just go after the pawns, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, we don't want to give them these kind of options necessarily, right? Like they could maybe trade and then do this. And now they have like a 2-on-1 majority end game with an extra pawn in hand. So like that would actually be a pretty good idea for them, right? That might be the best move actually, is to just take this and then trade queens. So that would have been something maybe a little scary to think about. Okay, they go backwards, and now you can take on b4 again. So that'd be pretty cool probably to do, but maybe you should just
Yeah.
take us through the rest of the game. And okay, so bishop back, they
We
offer a
haven't
rook
even gotten
trade.
there. I think when he moved this back, I was like, now I really just don't see anything. So this is really where I was like, just kind of throwing pieces out there, and you will see that there were a few mistakes made.
Ooh,
I declined the trade because I'm
okay.
um,
Uh-huh.
down a pawn, and
What's this last move doing?
what they're doing right now,
Uh-huh.
well, they're trying to get their queen in here. Yeah,
Yeah, this is another con of playing king f8.
yeah.
So what do you think is your best move here?
Um, King G8.
Probably. That's probably what I would do. What else is the queen doing there?
I mean, this isn't exactly. Oh, obviously this pawn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so this is. I think I did this.
So this is this
Wait, I
this
don't know. Ooh, yeah, I did. This is where again I was like just being super lazy at this point. But yeah,
well,
this is.
let's go back. Let's go all the way back here, right? This is where like when the bishop comes here, I'm like I should just trade it or I should come back. And these decisions all stem around the pawn structure, right? It's all about not recapturing. Like, and I know maybe in the London as well, it's very common to have a trade that's similar to this where you take back and you get these pawns, and it's not the end of the world. But in this game in particular, a lot of your problems stem from your pawns being separated. So when you trade here and they trade here, I would not take back. I would save my knight. So I would go like here or something.
Hmm.
And now they have to move the bishop back. And like,
But
yeah,
then I would lose a pawn here
no.
on e6.
How? What are you talking about?
if like I save this. Oh well, no. It's like a wait. Oh no, I don't know. Not
It's okay. Let's start
yeah.
from here. This is a blank slate, right? They offer a knight trade. We take the knight. They don't take the knight back. They take the bishop.
Mhm.
So now we have a decision. We can take the bishop or we can save the knight. Because if we take the bishop, they're going to take our knight either way.
Mhm.
And if we save our knight, they're going to save their bishop. Either way, we've traded this knight for this bishop, right? So now it's up to us if we want to continue trading, or we trade this bishop for this knight, or we save the knight and they save their bishop. This is kind of the trade proposal. So the reason why I would save the knight, it's nothing to do with the knight's value, and it's everything to do with the bishop and the pawn structure. So I don't want to just damage the pawn structure because I have this pawn chain, and when I take the bishop, I lose the pawn chain. Now I have two separated, kind of isolated pawns, right? So when we come back to this position here, again, this pawn push isn't great because our pawns and our bishop are all just kind of hanging out in no man's land. And now they're just easy pickings. So they play knight here, we have to save the bishop, and now we lose this pawn. All right, we've just lost. This is the pawn difference. This is literally the difference of the game right now, is that you took the bishop here and you damaged your pawn structure. So you could have saved the structure by trading bishops or bringing the bishop back. Or in this case, saving the knight. You could have also come back somewhere. Like you could also go here. So just moving the knight pretty much anywhere, and you don't have to take back with the pawn, and your structure is still intact. And it's going to be a lot harder for them to pick off the pawns like that and win them. So, we lose the pawn to this fork. This is pawn number 1. And now we never took their pawn. So we gave them a pawn. We never took one back. And now here's where we get in trouble. I was thinking that you would lose. I was thinking you'd play king g8, not let the queen in, and then we lose this pawn. But no, you play here. You save the pawn. Now, if the pawn had been on f5 still, or if we still had this pawn structure, like this never would have been possible. But we pushed the pawn, we traded here, we pushed the pawn. Now the queen comes in, we put the king on f8, right?
Threat, so I
What?
think that's actually not the
Yeah,
worst.
if we had left our king on f8, by the way, right here, then this whole maneuver like would not have been a threat either.
Yeah.
So, okay. Here, we save the pawn, they go here. And now this is actually a really strong move for a lot of reasons, now that I look at it for more than a second. So what are the threats? There's at least 2. One that's really direct and one that is less direct but more
I mean,
scary.
I see this takes and then queen.
Okay, that's not the threat that I'm thinking.
Okay, I mean take. Oh yeah.
Okay, that's a threat.
Yeah,
That's one big threat. It's important to note, like I dismissed rook takes f7 really quick, but that is a good idea that you should have in mind, right? Because that is a check and also a capture. So it's important that we're looking at those. So that's number 1. But yeah, you said b7 is hanging. That is true. So that's one thing. What's the second one? What was the threat of their previous move? What was their previous move?
It was the queen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, because now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Queen h7 is still there. It's still available because we didn't play king g8 and because we played king f8. We put the king in the center and now we're no longer guarding h7, right? And here's another thing. When you like initially played this h6 move, you were like saying, oh, this probably wasn't a great move. But it is typically a good move. Like your opponent played h3. Like these are very common moves because what is this called?
Flight square.
Yeah, it's a flight square. If you want to be German, you can say it's Luft.
Luft?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe someone German can correct me. Like that's German, right? It means lift. You can call it
Oh,
lift as
okay.
well if you want. Lift for the king. So essentially, if the pawn hadn't pushed, you wouldn't have Luft. You wouldn't have a flight square. And why is it important to have a flight square? Why would we want our king to be able to step up?
'Cause-
You got muted.
So you don't get back ranked.
Yeah, exactly. So when you put the king on f8, your king doesn't have Luft anymore. I mean, technically you can go here, but it's kind of scary. Now when you go here, now you don't actually have Luft.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much physically winced when you played Rook E8. I don't know if you heard me make a noise.
No.
But this move is very kind of not good.
I should have taken the rook.
Not necessarily. I think you can maintain the tension.
Um,
Honestly, your best move is probably to take this and then take this. Like that's probably. But normally I'm not the biggest fan of taking because they'll just take back. Essentially, what's going on, remember I was saying how much I actually really like Rook D8? You're fighting for this open D file, right? And when they go queen back, it's because they're trying to improve their worst piece on the board, their rook, right? They want to trade off their bad rook for your good rook. They're trying to fight for the D file. So when you go rook E8, you are conceding the entirety of the file. So now you go from having the best rook on the board to now the worst rook on the board. Now, granted, there's only 2 rooks, but you would rather maintain the equal fight over this, right? What would your coach call it? A power struggle, power balance?
a power balance.
There's a balance right now, right?
Yeah.
Both rooks are staring at each other. They're having a face-off, a
Mm-hmm.
staring contest, and you unfortunately lost the staring contest. And now their rook has the entire file all to themselves, complete control. And how do they take advantage of that? They put the rook on d7. That wouldn't have been possible if your rook had been there, right? Remember how you were considering sacrificing a whole piece just to get your rook to d2 because
Mm-hmm.
you have mating threats? They didn't have to sacrifice any piece. They just got a rook on d7 for free. And now they're the ones with look at this. That, like this, that, like oh my goodness. These pieces really are having a field day at your
We can't
expense.
forget that I was rooting for my opponent during this game. So,
That's gotta stop. First tournament, you get a pass. You can root for them. Your second tournament, you gotta be guns a blazing. You gotta
oh yes,
in
I
it to
learned my
win it.
lesson because afterwards I was a little disappointed. I was like, I could have just taken the extra time to like evaluate these moves, but I was playing really quickly and just
Was the charcuterie board and the wine really good though?
oh yeah, it was worth it. It made me forget all about this game.
Could you have the
It was a win in
charcuterie
my heart.
board and the wine and also have won the game?
Yeah, well, I didn't know my opponent was gonna take so effing long.
Okay. Well, that's kind
I
of
thought if I was playing quick, he would feel pressure to play quicker. So, but he didn't. He took his time
no.
and
Good for him. Good for him. He well, we don't know. Maybe he also had charcuterie board and wine when he got home with the
I don't
check
think
that
so.
he
He
won.
he came from Florida for this tournament.
Okay.
Another reason I said he can't. I just drove up the street. Like he came all this way. So, I just
You got to send him home packing.
I wanted Ryan to take it home.
Oh, shout out to Ryan. Congrats. If Ryan's listening, you earned this one.
He's definitely not.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, his rook is pretty good looking on d7. He's got all your b pawn is hanging, huge threat. King is gonna get mated on f8 if you're not careful. I'm a little nervous for you. I'm not gonna lie. This is not your position was like
And he wins my bishop.
okay. So we go rook here. We're saving our pawn. They trade. We take.
Which I should the bishop, because now look. What an idiot. Why did I take
Do you know why you didn't take with the bishop?
Oh, because then I lose the pawn. But then now I'm losing a bishop.
But you didn't see that at the time.
I should have seen it. There's nowhere from like my bishop has 2 squares and it can't go to either.
So remember your f pawn push?
Yes. It all
This
derives from that. I understand.
okay. Well, first, I mean, there's a lot of things. You're giving up control, right? Like you might not understand here in this position why we wouldn't control e4, but the queen eventually came here. Now it's very easy to say this also from my perspective, like after the fact, retrospect, because it's like later on in the game you could see like, oh, this was a blunder that was taken advantage of, right? Their queen got into these weaknesses, but you could argue if you leave the pawn here, then there might have been some other weaknesses that they took advantage of or something, right? Like maybe their queen attacks this pawn and we push this pawn and now our dark squares are weak. Like who really knows? But at the end of the day, it's true that when you push pawns, you create weaknesses, and pawns are just permanent moves because they can't go back. It's the only piece in chess that cannot go backwards. So when you make a pawn, it's a commitment. And unfortunately, this pawn weakens your king side. First and foremost, the capture is really, I think, the culprit. But what I also want to point out is that you're just taking away squares from your bishop. Like the bishop really puts a dent in their mobility, right? So when you push the f pawn, you're actually limiting your own mobility. You just cut off this whole diagonal from your bishop. So later on, when your bishop gets trapped, you really wish that this pawn was here because you wouldn't be dealing with this problem and you wouldn't be dealing with this problem. Here's another thing. If you had traded rooks or left the rook here, you wouldn't have to worry about a rook getting to the 7th. You wouldn't have to worry about trading on e7 either, right? Here's another thing. If your king was on g8, you'd be forced to take the bishop. So there's a lot.
Right.
I don't know if I could keep going. There's a lot of
These
these.
little mistakes add up.
It ended up costing you the bishop here. What's also funny is you could have just taken here and like, okay, maybe you lose a pawn or whatever, but yeah,
I really, at this point in the game, I was not paying attention, and my next move is actually the worst one of the game. I
oh
remember it
no,
vividly.
so they trapped the bishop and now
Oh no, well after
oh,
this, they
okay.
take the bishop.
Okay, so you wanna take me through this? There's only
Okay.
like 8 moves left. Okay.
So yeah, that was that was the
F6.
mistake.
F6
Yeah,
was the mistake.
horrible,
So
terrible.
okay, so they get a double check, a discover
Yeah,
double check.
basically the worst thing that could happen. But like I said, I just
You're making the charcuterie board that much closer.
exactly. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, my opponent took every bit of his time, and this was still almost a 4-hour game. But you
Well,
know what? That's why I kept playing. Even after this, I was like, I mean, I'm toast basically. Like my opponent's been playing pretty carefully. Like I doubt that I'm going to have a comeback here. But I said he's so low on time. Like it's possible
yeah.
I just flag him, you know.
Okay. Okay.
Um.
So now,
Oh wait, I don't even know if that's what happened. I'm assuming.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, you played King F7. Okay. I
Again, just
mean,
like a very impulsive, quick finger on the trigger move. Like I didn't really think.
yeah, everything's kind of falling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, these are like,
Ouch.
yeah, that's it, obviously.
Yeah. Well, you know, you
You
live
live
and
and
you
you
learn.
learn.
Jinx.
Oh, we said the same thing.
That's what jinx means.
Oh, I didn't hear the jinx because I was too busy
Oh, it's
saying,
okay. Um, but yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. So it sounds like you already learned a lesson here.
yeah, I would say basically from the moment, really after I lost my potential tactic that didn't really exist of checkmating him, not checkmating him, I like completely was not trying at all.
So
Like it was just being like, I don't know. It was like just all
I would
impulsive.
say I love that neither of you guys captured on A5 or B4 for the entirety of the game. Also, your queen made one move. You went queen B6, and it stayed there until the end of the game. So after this move right here and here, these three pieces never moved. Neither did this one, or this one, or this one. Not that it matters.
Which again, like I don't know why I didn't take that because now look, these pieces are so bad. They have nowhere to go. This was just honestly a disgrace to the game of chess, and I hope for everyone's sake that nobody has to
No.
play any of these games ever again. But you know what? Next tournament, when we review the games, you're gonna be like, Emily, I didn't know that you hired Magnus to play these games. Like, you're playing so well.
Somebody clip that. These are big words that Emily's gonna have to live up to now. So
I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm feeling pretty confident about the next one because, like I said, had I given some thought to these moves before I played them, I think we would be having a different experience right now.
okay, that's another good lesson.
But also, I feel like I've learned so much from reviewing these games. So much. One, first and foremost, always castle early and often, which doesn't really make a ton of sense, but like, yeah,
I think
move castle.
who taught you that one?
You did.
That was me a long time ago, right?
Yes. High oak. Um, yeah, castle.
Okay.
Only move the pieces once. I guess I should probably make
Oh,
it a rule for myself. I think this is a rule, but I don't know if we went over this, that like you should only move pawns to facilitate further piece development.
I don't think I taught you that, but I like the sound of it.
Okay. Well, I think I clearly have like a pawn problem, so that we're gonna just do that. We're gonna say that that's a rule for me.
Okay.
Um, oh no, bring the star players into the game before the bench warmers.
I mean,
That's what I'm gonna have to memorize.
I mean that okay. Before you can develop a bishop though, you have to push a pawn, right?
Well, yes. So you can push pawns to develop to
Yeah,
facilitate
that
for
was the first thing you said. But
yeah.
then you went with the athlete and the bench
Well, but
warmer.
it should be obvious that like they can't. Some of them just they're not coming out without
Yeah.
bench warmer getting out of the way. Wait, make their way onto the field.
Yeah. I mean, you already know the opening principles, right? Like I'm not too hung up on that. It's the actual practice of them,
Right.
right?
But like
Implementation.
I think my problem is that I've justified not doing them. And so now I've learned just do them like basically
Well,
always.
you gotta like I think that you can read up on the books and be like, okay, yeah, like I get it. And then you go into an actual game and then you like try to come up with your own rules and then you really learn the hard way of like, wow, maybe that's why I should have done it differently, right? Or done it the way that I learned it or whatever, right? I think a
Exactly.
lot of
This has
your
been a perfect example, like way for me to learn that because I
yeah,
suffered the consequence.
you're learning from firsthand experience, which is why playing in tournaments is so important. And it's also why reviewing your games is so important. And it's also why this game was not a disgrace to the game of chess, because not only did you learn from it, but we also, I think, all learned from it together. And that in and of itself makes the game very much not a disgrace. In fact, this game could arguably be put into a museum, a database of Emily's over the board games, if you will. And
We'll have to hold off on those for a couple more tournaments.
something I like to do, so on chess.com, you can see when your account was made,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like your chess anniversary. And for me, it's actually November, so it's coming up. And what I like to do is I like to review the first ever game that I played on chess.com.
Oh my gosh.
And I think I was like 400 rated. So
Dang.
you could
Wait, how
argue
long have you been playing?
I made my account in 2012, so 12 years.
Well, to be fair, I made my account before I started playing chess because I had ambitions of playing.
Wow.
Like I played a couple games and I was like, this isn't for me. But now here I am.
You came back. You couldn't resist the allure of the pawns,
No.
the king's game, the
Lock
64
pickup in the
squares.
chat. He probably logged off, but he was made me realize that I can do better at chess.
Wait, did you make the chess.com account before you met Alec or after?
Yeah, yeah. I had
Before.
it like basically I think it was after I watched the Queen's Gambit. I was like, I'm gonna start playing chess and I made the account and I got beat by like the first 4 games I played and I was like, okay, it's not for me.
Okay. But then
But then I came
Alex
back. Here
sparked
we are.
the interest again.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Alec and also shout out to Chess Dojo for the raid. Thank you, and I hope you had a good stream. We're giving a lesson to Emily. If you would like to give her a follow, be sure to do so to keep up with all of her streams and future chess endeavors. She is a local to the Charlotte Chess Center, where she competed most recently in her first ever over the board tournament, where she got 2 wins out of 5 and almost won some. She almost beat a guy that won money, so she almost won money, so to speak.
I wouldn't
So
say almost. Like
this
game.
game was so close, really. You just kind of you were on it, and then you dropped a couple opportunities. Yeah, this capture
I
here,
had
I think, was a
more like
cause. This was a lot of issues for you with the bad pawn structure, right? Also, not taking really minimized a lot of your opportunities. So like, not only winning a pawn, but it I think would have also helped with your piece play. Your pieces could have had more opportunities to play. Also, like this pawn really takes away from it supporting the center, right?
yeah.
So okay,
It all
captures.
stemmed from there, basically, because also my pieces just would have had so much more activity
Yeah,
on the
so
queen.
it's the activity. It's just kind of the missed opportunities, and it's the material. So you gotta be able to recognize it and act on it, right? So you never took. That was just always a constant missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then you were playing really defensively. You lost some material. And it's not even so much the material, it's also like the activity of their pieces, right? So you played well here. Like this is good activity for you, like probably taking first, right? Like we said. And then this is where it kind of goes downhill, is where you kind of lose um like I don't even know what to say. It's not necessarily that you're losing any threats or opportunities, but it's just like you're not improving your position.
Mm-hmm.
So your bishop also is like just tied down. Like you're defending this pawn, right? So you don't want to move the bishop. Um, I would love to play like rook here, just attack the queen again, but we don't have access to this. So you kind of do have to find some sort of shuffling move here. So you move the king. Now here, this is where they concede. They go backwards. Again, you should take this pawn. That'd be great. Also, it's like not that easy, right? Because they can pin you. So I don't want to necessarily say it's like a free pawn. And like even defending the pawn is not so easy because if you take, well, you're still in this pin, right? So that's not good. So maybe if they try to pin you, what you should do is try to go for some sort of counterplay. But it's not easy because like that pawn's defended. Oops. And this pawn you can't really attack because if you do, then they're just going to take here. So it's not easy. Like taking now even, you kind of missed that opportunity. But here and now this is where it gets really bad for you. You should probably not leave the file because now it's like all the little problems have just completely added up and your opponent has taken maximum advantage. You are not making progress. You're just going back and forth, and it's because your pawn structure is bad. So your pieces are defending pawns rather than your pieces playing. And ultimately, you blundered. So capture, this is, you have to give up a pawn here, right? Because if you take with the king, as you saw, you lose a piece. So when you have bad pawns, you're going to have bad pieces, right? So it's better to give up pawns because you don't want your pieces to suffer because of your bad pawns.
Mm-hmm.
So your team is only as good as your weakest link.
Yeah.
So if your pawn is the weakest link, you just chuck it, get rid of it. This pawn sucks. I'm sorry, but just take with the bishop.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, they take here. Well, guess what? Now we can take here. Finally, again, whatever. Here's another worrisome idea. Maybe they don't go for the ball. Maybe they go here. But now you can go back to your favorite square and just babysit a pawn. Or I don't know, you can go here or something. This is still very awkward, right? Because they're gonna just, you're getting kind of crushed here too, to be honest. So this isn't pretty either, by the way. But again, it's because you put your rook on the e file instead of keeping on the d file. So rook activity is really important. Staying on the active files.
You're like always forced to take essentially when they like put the rook on the same file as them.
Not always for it. You want to maintain tension, right? Keep the staring contest. So it depends. If you can take and they have to take back with like a knight or a bishop or something, that's fine. But here I don't like trading because they will take back with the queen and that's a very active file, right? So it's hard for us to contest this. Now, I mean, still probably this is good for us is to just take. Like that's always been there and I'm over it at this point. But in principle, like you don't want to take if they're going to retake, especially if there's 4 rooks on the board. Especially if there's 4 rooks on the board. If you take and they can take back the rook, that's really good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because our rook is left in a bad corner and their rook activates from a bad corner to a great file. What we want is for them to take us so that we recapture. So they say to take is a mistake, right? And it's because of them being able to recapture with activity. So if they can't recapture with activity, then the trade is actually good. So like earlier when you traded here, I really like this trade because they are limited in their responses. So if they take with the rook, then we take, and now this pawn is actually kind of bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking away. We got to pile up on this pawn though. So I was thinking like this, but they have this or whatever. Or like maybe we could play here. They would still probably do this, and that's still this same fork. But maybe we can go here. And now if they take here, oh, their knight defends that, and that's defended. But okay.
You have pretty good board vision. Like if you're playing over the board, can you feel like you can see a lot of moves in advance?
Well, in a classical time control, I like to think that I can calculate a little bit,
How many moves would you say?
This is the classic chess player question that the answer is always it depends.
Like max amount of moves. You've calculated.
I've played in my own tournaments and I've reviewed my own games and there's been times where I've seen tactics pretty long out. Like That's I think kind of
Oh,
I couldn't tell you the number precisely. Like I don't know. It's also been a very long time since I have played over the board. I don't know what you're looking for. You want an exact
it just
number?
was. I'm
Just a
just wondering,
ballpark?
like, as far as like, if there's one thing I need to I'm like, is it calculating? Is it learning tactics? I think it's, well, castling is
Ugh.
probably what you say.
You already know that though is the thing, right? It's like you can't learn it enough times. It's like you already know. I think for you, you can improve on actually doing the things that you know are good is one thing. But then also like yeah, your calculation is gonna help. Like the thing is, if you're less than 1,000 or whatever, pretty much every aspect of your game could improve, right? There's no like one exact thing that you should be focusing on because it's not like
Hmm.
there's one thing that's gonna solve all your problems
Hmm.
because you got problems in all aspects of the game, and that's not me saying you specifically. That's just pretty
Well,
much
but
that's just anyone that's below a certain rating, right? Is just the fact of the matter. Like for me, exactly. Like I have problems all in all aspects of the game. Every aspect of the game I could improve on. Like someone asked, there's this GM streamer that I like to watch, and someone was like, "What's the difference between an IM and a GM?" Right? And to you and me, an IM and a GM is gonna crush us, regardless, right? Like the difference between me and an IM or even an NM, like any master, is like significant. The difference between IM and GM, when the streamer was asked this, he said every aspect of the game, every single aspect. A GM is going to be better at opening knowledge, theory, right, middle game tactics, calculation, in game technique. Like you point to any aspect of the game, the GM is just going to be better, and that's just the fact of the matter. Is like no matter what level you're at, you can improve in some regard at any level of the game. So there's no one specific thing that I want you to focus on because you can improve across the board. Like no pun intended.
yeah, that was a good one.
So, but yeah, you know a lot already. There's it's just putting it to practice is a whole different story, and I think you can do it because you've kind of gotten this experience now, which is great. Like this experience to play your first over the board classical tournament is invaluable. As embarrassing as you might think the games might be, that experience is so important to go through to help you improve. Because if you didn't do this, then you wouldn't have this experience. You wouldn't have made this same mistakes that you could learn from. You'd
Hmm.
still be just playing online chess every day, and who knows? Like this is why it's so important to play classical. Like people are like, how do I improve? I'm playing 1,000 bullet games a day and I'm not improving. It's like, well, play a longer time control game and actually like think about your moves and your
Yeah,
you're saying yourself I would have won this game if I thought a little bit longer. Right? You're like okay well then do that like
yeah,
now you know um because you're really if you're not using your clock you're essentially playing with time odds, right?
yeah.
So you're giving your opponent additional resources. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage if you're playing too quickly. You're
Hmm.
not really using your full strength. So that's why longer time controls are better for chess improvements because you have as much time to think about the move or the game as the clock gives you.
Hmm.
So that's why the world championship is determined by classical time control. They're not playing bullet games or blitz games, right? They're playing classical because that's the maximum amount of time allotted to them.
Hmm.
And that's why it's hard to improve in chess by playing bullet, right? Because you can improve your speed or whatever, but that's not going to improve your chess skill,
Hmm.
your chess knowledge. This time control, I think
It was like
Alex
an
said it
hour
was,
50, 10-second increment.
yeah, it was 10-second increment. I forgot how many minutes he said. It was like
I
100
think it's
minutes.
an hour 50, 50. Does that add up to 4 hours? Because that's how long some of these
It was like
games are.
110 minutes, an hour and 50 minutes with 10-second increment. An hour and
Mhm.
50 minutes is just so awkward.
I don't know. That's what Alex said it was. Maybe it was 30-second increments.
I
I
thought it
don't know.
was, he did say it was 10-second increment. I remember that. But I thought it was like 100 minutes, which is still kind of awkward though. That's like an hour and 40 minutes. But I think that's less awkward than an hour and 50 minutes.
Also, thank you, beginner. True. But I appreciate it. Anyway.
Okay. Well, we are at the end of the games. So I think overall you played an awesome tournament. 2
You
huge
have to say
wins.
that.
I don't I don't have to say it. You could have lost all your games, and I mean, as long as you play well, I don't actually care about the result of the game, right?
But I didn't play well.
Well, you played first and foremost. You got your first tournament under the belt, which is huge. Like I said, this is just invaluable. And I think that you learned a lot, and I think that the fact that you signed up for another tournament already is also huge because it shows that you're inspired to continue. You're not giving up, and you're looking forward to gaining some momentum going into your future tournament and improving. And I think that as far as a coach perspective goes, you couldn't really ask for much more. So, bravo. Honestly, claps.
Thank you.
Claps in
That's very
chat.
nice.
Let's go, Emily.
I
Huge,
appreciate it.
huge
Thanks,
first
guys.
step, big milestone in the chess career, chess journey. And I think this is going to be the first tournament of many. And hopefully, this is something that you can not only improve on, but look back on and feel inspired. And like I was saying, I look back at my first game ever played on chess.com every now and then to reminisce. And you can look back at these games and give yourself a pat on the back after you've made all the progress in the journey and can see how far you've come as a chess player, which is already, I think, a long way from where you started, which was not that long ago.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
major props to you.
Well, thanks, Joe. Appreciate it as always. Very insightful. Lots of good learnings. And now I'm like, now I want to go play more chess and apply it, but I'm not tonight because I'm very tired.
Yeah, it's late. I always
But
use a lot of your time, so I appreciate it.
no, no, it was very helpful. Like, thank you. Seriously. Bishop Stars. Hello. Um, Not tonight, beginner. I'm very tired. This is gonna be the end for me. But Joe, are you continuing to stream or should we find someone to raid?
I think I'll keep going.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Perfect. Well, I'm gonna send everyone to you. Thank you so much again, for all of the knowledge you've imparted on me today. And I will make you proud in the next tournament.
You've already made me proud. I'm already proud of you.
That's very nice
And
of
I'm
you to
already
say.
proud that you've signed up for another tournament. I think that's huge. And I'm looking forward to it. So can't wait for it. And thanks to you for being here, hanging out, sharing these games. I know it can be embarrassing a little bit, but I think that we've all gained from it. We've all learned from it together. And honestly, the next best thing from learning from your own mistakes is learning from other people's mistakes. So it's a lot of
Better, because
people.
then you don't have to make them yourself. So I got you guys. You're welcome.
Emily plays chess so that we don't have to.
That's right. Yeah.
Huge. All right, I'll let you get going. Thanks again, and
All right.
I'll
Thank you.
see you later.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Good night, Dale.
He's done for the night.
You're gonna give him some cuddles, right? Give him some good night.
No,
No, he's on his own.
All right.
All right.
See you guys.
I'll talk
Thank
to you
you.
later. Thanks for a
Bye.
huge raid from Emily. Oh my goodness.
Huge.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Emily, you guys. We just lit over her games. Thank you, Oak Artemis, for the.
Okay.
You gotta go.